Hi there and welcome to the complete email marketing course for Shopify stores. And when I say complete, I mean it. In this course, I'm not going to keep any stone unturned. I will try to cover everything from A to Z. So make sure to watch this video up until the end and not to skip any part. I'm pretty sure you are going to learn a lot through it. If you are running a store, if you own a brand and you are entirely relying on social media, whether through paid ads or organic traffic to make sales, you are actually building your business on rented land. I'm sad to tell you that you don't actually own any of your social media profiles. You don't own any of these platforms or these algorithms. The only thing that you can own as a business owner is your customers' emails list. And this is where you have the full control because you own this list and these customers agreed to receive marketing from you. Emails are where profits happen, and when you use email marketing, you will see what a great tool it is in order to retain your customers, to turn your one-time buyers into repetitive customers, into loyal fans for your brand, and most importantly, to bring you sales for as less as $0 per month. Email marketing is the marketing strategy with the highest ROI ever. You basically just pay for the software that's running your email marketing system, and that's it. You have full control, you can contact your customers whenever you want, and you can make sales on autopilot. In this course, I'm going to walk you step by step through how to build, grow, and monetize your email list. And I'm going to show you not only the philosophy behind every part of your email marketing system, but how to apply it within Omnisend. I will try to cover everything as I promised at the beginning of this video, so if you are a total beginner, this course is going to be amazing for you. But if you are a little bit on a more advanced stage, you can always use the timestamps below in order to jump between chapters. However, I highly recommend you to watch the full video even if you are a little bit more advanced, because I'm pretty sure you are going to discover a lot of new things within this video. So, are you ready? Let's jump in. The first thing we're gonna discuss in this course is how to build your email list, even if you are just starting from scratch, and most importantly, how to build it the right way. When brands or businesses think about increasing their traffic and making more money, they usually think about increasing their ads budget, spending more there, maybe working with more influencers, and so on. In most people's mindsets, more traffic, more exposure, more reach, more sales. And this is true especially if your brand is still at this early stage where you want more people to know about your brand, more people to check out your products and hopefully buy them. Acquiring new customers is always important, and email marketing is not there to replace this part. It's there to be a part of the full engine to help you to convert more potential customers into customers and to help you to retain your old customers. And this is something very important that you need to keep in mind. So for any business to be able to grow and scale, we need to be able to always bring new traffic, new blood to this business. But we should also be able to convert this traffic into customers and to retain the customers that we have gained. And email marketing can help you with both. When you run ads, every time you want anyone to know about your products or to check out your products, you want to pay for this view. You want to pay for reaching them. But using email marketing, you don't need to pay every time because you have their email addresses. You can contact them whenever you want. And that's why at the beginning of this video, I told you your email list is super important because this is the only thing that you own in your business. Creating a list of your customers, your potential customers, and people who are interested in your brand is super important, and it's your only way to make sure that you are creating a business that's strong, sustainable, and that will be able to live for years and years. So what building a qualified list means? It means building a list of people who know your brand, are interested in your products, and actually want to hear from you again. These are three important things, and we are going to cover all of this through this course. Remember, if you are not building your list, you are basically creating your business or building your business on a rented land. So what's list building is really about? List building isn't just about throwing a pop-up in the homepage and hoping for the best. I know many people will do that. They will create a welcome pop-up asking people to sign up, to give them their email addresses, and that's it. Well, this is not how you build a real list. List building is about creating multiple entry points for different types of visitors and making the value of joining your list very clear and compelling that people actually want to sign up. And there are so many ways to make the offer compelling, and we are going to discuss all of this. But before, let's discuss some benchmarks that you need to keep in mind while you are working on your email marketing system. Well, when you have a sign-up form, and we are going to discuss sign-up forms in details later on, you should expect a 5% submission rate. This means that out of 100 people who see your pop-up or who see your form, or out of 100 people who you ask to join your email list, 5 at least are going to join. If you improve this system, if you are good actually at the offer, the language, the communication, everything, you can reach a submission rate of 10%, and this could be amazing because it means that out of 100 store visitors, you are able to convince 10 to give you their email addresses. And once they do that, you will be able to reach out to them as much as you want. Usually with email marketing, we have the highest ROI in e-commerce. So for every $1 we spend, we make around $40, which is amazing. And by the way, and I'm pretty sure this is something that you are thinking about now, you don't need a huge list in order to make a lot of sales or in order to make email marketing worth the effort. I've seen brands with lists as small as 2,000 followers or 2,000 subscribers making thousands and thousands of dollars on sales every month using email marketing. The quantity or how big your email list is something for sure important, because the bigger your list is, the better it is. But what's more important than the number of email addresses that you have is the type of relationship you have with those customers or with those potential customers. So the quality plays a very big role, because if you have a small list of 2,000 people and they are real big fans of your brand, they open all of your emails, they interact with your emails, they reply to your emails, they actually take action when you tell them to take action, this list can be much more valuable than a list of 15,000 contacts who are not engaged with your emails, who don't care about your brand. So the quality is more important than the quantity, and that's why you should always think about how to improve the connection or the relation you have with your potential customers or with your list. Now let's talk about why people might join your email list. At the end, email is a personal piece of information, and many people don't want to share their emails and start receiving like those promotions and stuff like that. But that's not true. People sign up to e-commerce brands all the time. They receive the emails and they open them. So why would they do that? Why would they sign up to your newsletters? First, you need to make it super clear. You need to give them a clear benefit. Subscribers need to understand exactly what they will get by joining your list, whether it is an offer or exclusive access or whatever. It should be super clear and it should be compelling. Second, it should be a low commitment. The sign-up process should be quick and painless with minimal information required. So if you start asking your customers about their names, their birthdays, and so on, most probably they are not going to sign up. We are going to discuss this more and what type of information you should be asking them to hand you, but usually the less you ask, the best it is. You need to make the process super simple, straightforward, so they sign up without a hassle. Third, and most importantly, you need to give them something immediately. When they sign up, they should be receiving directly something that will make them happy. One of the best things or the best ways to become a good email marketer is to learn from other brands. So what I recommend you to do is to sign up to other email marketing systems from other brands. So you just go to your competitors or brands you love, sign up and see what type of offers they are giving, how the process is working, what do they send on a weekly basis or maybe more than once a week, what they have as automations and so on. So try to learn from them, try to see what's happening in the market. This is going to greatly help you to improve your own email marketing system. Now, before digging deeper and in order to help you to know how to do your email marketing research, there are actually two websites that I recommend you to visit. The first one is Really Good Emails, and as the name suggests, in there you will find really good emails. In there you will see brands, you can check out their websites, sign up, see what's happening in there and learn from them. The other website that you can use is mild.com, and it's also similar to Really Good Emails. So spend some time there, check out brands in your niche or in your similar niches and sign up to their email marketing and see what's happening. You don't need to do this at this moment. This is something that you need to keep doing all the time in order to stay always up to date and in order to always know what's happening in the market. So here's a small summary about what you need to remember before we start technically discussing how you're going to build your list. First, focus on building relationships, not just lists. You're not just collecting emails, you're creating a relationship channel. You don't want 10,000 emails of people who don't know about your brand. So please don't go and buy email addresses from Fiverr or whatever. You want people who know about your brand, are interested in your niche, and who said yes to receiving marketing from you. Second, always keep your offers brand aligned. Email marketing is just another piece of the full puzzle, which is your brand. So it should be aligned with your whole brand identity. This is super important, and this is something that you need to keep in mind whenever you are sending a new offer or a new email or setting up any automation or even setting up your sign up forms. Third, always focus on creating multiple entry points to build your list. And we are going to discuss all the different entry points that we have. And I recommend you to choose the ones that are aligned with your brand and have them embedded or presented within your marketing strategy. Fourth, track and improve. As I told you before, the normal benchmark for sign-ups is usually 5%, but you can get this number as high as 10% if you did your job well, if you tracked your results, did a lot of A/B testing, and saw what actually resonates best with your audience. And we are going to talk about this also in the following part. So let's start the real work now. What are the different entry points or different ways that you can use to collect your customers' emails? Well, first you have the pop-up forms, and I'm pretty sure this is the type that you are the most familiar with. And there are 4 different types of pop-ups depending on the behaviors, and we are going to discuss them. These are the most common and the highest converting type of forms, and you should definitely use them. The second type is the quiz results or product recommendations. Interactive quizzes can collect emails before showing results, and in so many niches, quizzes are actually very popular and people like them. Third, you have the embedded forms, and these are static sign-up forms that you find on the website where people can sign up and to newsletter, and that's it. 4, you have the checkout opt-in. So this is when your customers are at the checkout phase, they can opt into your email marketing in there. Then you have the back in stock or waitlist sign up. So in case like you have some product or a product is sold out, you can ask people to sign up to be the first to know about this or to be alerted and so on. And 6, you have the giveaway or contest sign up forms. And these are time limited sign up forms where users enter to win something. I'm not a very big fan of the giveaway sign up forms because I think so many people sign up even if they are not very interested about the brand or the product. But in some cases, they are actually very valuable and you can always test them and see if they brought you high quality email addresses or not. We will start first by talking about pop-ups because these are the most important sign-up forms ever and you should definitely use them. And please don't even say that this doesn't align with my brand. All brands, even the most fancy ones, use pop-ups. You just need to make sure that it's well designed, branded, it looks elegant, and it will work with your brand. No worries. So the first type is the entry pop-ups, and those usually appear right after someone lands on your store. This is very good if you have a very compelling offer and you can delay it to appear after 5 seconds or 8 seconds. Usually some people think they are a little bit annoying because they appear directly on your store when someone is visiting. I don't agree. You just need to have the right timing, which is something we are going to discuss when we move to Omnisend to create our first pop-up. Now, the second type of entry pop-up, and it's very similar to this one, is actually the scroll-based pop-ups. So instead of showing a welcome pop-up when someone spends 5 seconds on your store or immediately, you show it after someone scrolls on the homepage, or on any page. So let's say I scroll 30% of the page. This gives signs that I'm interested about this brand, so the pop-up will appear. These 2 types of pop-ups, the entry and the scroll-based pop-ups, are both welcome pop-ups and they are meant for people who landed on my store. The third type is the exit intent pop-up, and this one appears when someone moves their mouse to leave the page. It's great for desktop traffic. It doesn't work on mobiles because there is no actual exit behavior in there. So it's great for desktops. You can always have it on desktops, not have it on mobiles. So I highly recommend you to test it out. And usually the moment when someone is exiting is a perfect moment to grab attention with something like wait before you go. I'm going to show you examples of these pop-ups, so don't worry. And the final type of pop-ups is the gamified pop-ups or the spin to win. And this usually is highly converting. People like it a lot. I will show you an example of it, but it might not align with your brand. Let me show you the example so you can understand more what I'm talking about. So this is a welcome pop-up. So for example, in here, why hello there, enjoy 50% off plus free shipping on your next purchase, sign up, get the offer, and that's it. This is a typical welcome pop-up. As you can see, it's welcoming someone new who just landed on the store, offering them a discount percentage. This could be based on the delay, on the time someone spent on the website, or on how much they scrolled on the page. The second type is for someone who's leaving, the exit intent type. And as you can see, the language is totally different. Wait before you go, here is $10 off. And as I said, this is a very good moment to grab your potential customers' attention. They are about to leave, you're offering them a discount, they might rethink it. Now, the final type is the spin to win. I'm pretty sure you have seen this somewhere on the internet. It's very popular. And it's very good, and you can actually set up like the percentage of each of these options. So for example, you can have offers going from 5% to 50%, and you can decide that the 50% only happens 1% of times. But although it's super converting and people like it, it doesn't align with all brands. So if you sell something elegant, expensive, it doesn't feel right to have it on your store. So deciding to use this type of pop-ups is really related and highly depending on your brand and your niche. If you're selling games, for example, this type of pop-ups could be amazing. You're already selling games. But if you are selling gold for $300 a piece, this is not gonna work. Now, after pop-ups, we have the quiz result or product recommendation. And interactive quiz can actually collect emails before showing results. And they work very well with a lot of niches like skincare, supplements, fragrance, fashion products, and so on. And personally, I have used quizzes with a lot of businesses in the hair care industry, in the skincare industry, in the makeup industry, and so on. And they always perform very well, not only even to collect emails, but also on social media. People like quizzes, especially if they are there to help them to make an informed, better decision. So if your brand is in any of these niches, I highly recommend you to consider making a quiz. Again, they usually perform very well. So here is an example. Take the quiz to find your perfect scent. We'll email you results plus a discount. You can do it again for many other niches like hair care, makeup, skincare, and so on. This works because it gives people something specific and personalized in exchange of their email, not just sign up for updates. So if creating a quiz is something that can work for your brand, I highly recommend you to create them. And here is an example. This is a brand that sells product related to hair. And as you can see, we have here a quiz. It's accessible from the main menu. And when you start the quiz, sometimes at the beginning, they will ask you for your email address, or at the end, they will ask you for your email address to send you the results. So there are so many Shopify apps that you can install in order to set up quizzes on your store. And if this is something that you are interested about, let me know in the comment section below, and I would be more than happy to create a video about quizzes, how to create them on your Shopify store, and so on. Now, after quizzes, we have the embedded forms, and these are static sign-up forms placed directly on a page. You don't use a pop-up. So usually you place them on the footer, on an About Us page, on blog articles, or again after a quiz. So when you use them, when you want a low pressure, always visible option for people to join, you can use them. They don't usually perform like extremely well because they are static. Some people don't even notice them, but having them on these pages is always an addition, a plus that you can profit from. Here is an example of sign up form in the footer, and I'm pretty sure you see it very frequently on the internet. Now, the next way of how people can actually sign up to your email list is while they are checking out. This is the form people see during the Shopify checkout process, and this is something people see during the checkout process on Shopify, and there is an option where they can choose to receive marketing from your brand, and it's directly under the email addresses, as you can see in here. Well, I want to talk a little bit here about this because there is so many ideas or opinions about this. So many brands keep this checked by default. So many people sign up to their email lists or to the brand email list by default while they are checking out, because this was already checked. So what are the pros and cons of keeping this checked by default? Well, for sure, if it's checked by default, you increase the percentage of people actually keeping it checked and being registered on Omnisend or on your email marketing software as people who accept marketing. But what are the cons of doing this? Well, first, it's not legal in all countries. Second, I've heard that in some Shopify stores, this is not even accessible anymore, so you can't turn it on by default anymore. I'm not sure about this because in all the stores that I'm managing, I can still turn this on and off, so you need to double check this. But the biggest con of actually keeping this turned on is that so many people will be signing up to email marketing without actually knowing it, without being 100% intentionally signing up to email marketing. And this can be risky because if you are running a lot of ads and if you are receiving a lot of sales every day, this means that the percentage of people on your list who are signing up and without actually being very well aware of this because you made them sign up by default on checkout is going to increase, and this is going to lower your email list health and quality. So whether you should be turning this on and off, it's actually a decision that you should be making. But in my opinion, if you are running a lot of ads and if you receive a lot of sales daily, I prefer to keep this one unchecked. If you receive a limited number of sales daily and if your brand is just starting out, you can keep it on in order to grow your list. And because I think when you have a limited number of customers, they are usually more engaged with the brand. But if most of your customers are, for example, coming directly from Google through like a quick display ads or quick shopping ads, most probably this is going to lower your email list quality. And I'm talking out of experience. I've seen this happening with a lot of brands. They keep it on, and when we start sending emails, we notice like huge bounce rates, huge spam rates, and this is very bad for your domain reputation and for the health of your email marketing system. So now you know all the different ways or the different entry points that you can use in order to get people to sign up and be a part of your email list. Let's discuss now how you can improve your email sign up rate and what are the things that you can test. And we are going to specifically talk about pop-ups because, as I said before, this is the most important type of sign-up forms, and pop-ups are usually the best performing ones. When we check the benchmarks at the beginning of this course, I told you that usually for a sign-up, 5% is a good, healthy submission rate. And I told you that if you track your numbers, if you do enough testing, you can increase this number to 10%. And this is something doable, and we've done it with a lot of our clients. So how you can do this? What's the strategy that you should be using? What we call this is A/B testing. And if you don't know what A/B testing is, I will explain it now. It's actually when you run a test with two versions, A and B. And between these two versions, you only change one thing. And you let this test run for a certain amount of time, and based on the results, you will know which one of the versions is performing the best. A/B testing is super important, and you can heavily use it in email marketing, and it can all be done automatically on Omnisend, so you don't need to worry a lot about it. We are going to see together how to do the A/B testing on Omnisend, all the different steps and everything, but let's first understand what are the things that you should be A/B testing. So once your pop-up is live and collecting emails, you don't just sit and forget it. You test it, you improve it, and you make it work harder for you. Again, you can move it from 5% to 10%. Even small changes can make a big difference, and I have seen this actually, like changing colors, the text, the call to action can make a huge difference. That's why A/B testing is important, and that's why we're going to discuss in details all the things that you can A/B test. Well, first, you can A/B test the offer. As I told you before, when you are asking people to sign up to your email list, you need to be giving them something compelling, like an immediate gratification, an immediate gift. And this is what you call the offer. And this is the number one thing that impacts the sign-up submission rate. This is the most important thing to A/B test. And for example, you can test the difference between 10% offer versus a free shipping, or $5 off versus 10% off. And it's very important to do these testing one at a time. So you start, for example, by testing $5 versus 10% off. Then you do the 10% off versus the free shipping. Always you test only one thing at a time. And here is a small tip. If your average order value is low, a dollar amount might feel bigger than a percentage. So always test. And by the way, in so many cases, before we do the A/B testing, I would be very sure that 20% dollars off would look better than 20% off. But in so many cases, the numbers show me that I was wrong. So don't predict the future, just do your work, A/B test the different offers and see what works best. Every niche is different, every business is different, every audience is different. A strong offer can highly improve your sign-up rate. So this is something that you should never miss, and this is the first thing that you should be A/B testing. Now, the second thing that you can A/B test is the headline text. And as you can see on every pop-up, we will have a text. Like for example, in here, join our community. And this is what people read first. If it's boring, they are going to just close the pop-up and not open it again. So A/B testing the headline is always important. And here are some things that you can, or examples. For example, get 10% off instantly versus join and save on your first order. Or try adding urgency by saying, for example, limited time only. This is going to differ depending on your offer, and it's very important to A/B test. Again, it's not going to affect your results as much as the offer itself, but it's very important. For sure, if we look, for example, at this example, I'm pretty sure that the first one, the get 10% off instantly, is going to perform better than this one. But if instead, for example, of getting 10% instantly, we can put, for example, enjoy 10% off and see which one performs better. Now, the third thing that you can A/B testing is the pop-up timing. We have talked before about the different type of pop-ups, the welcome ones, the scroll-based ones, the exit intent ones, and so on. And in here you can A/B test. So for example, does the pop-up perform better if we show it after 10 seconds or after 5 seconds or after scrolling for 40% or for 60%. These are tiny small tests that you can do, and when you compile them, they will help you to improve your sign-up rate overall. Well, and here is a small tip. You will often find scroll-based or exit intent pop-ups performing better on desktop, but immediate ones work better on mobile. But please don't believe me on this. Start with this recommendation first, so do your first setup based on this tip, but always do A/B testing and see if this actually holds up or not. Next, we will A/B test the design and image. So do you want to have an image or not? Or we can, for example, A/B test the colors and layout. Or we can A/B test whether the pop-up is very branded or basic, and so on. These, again, are like less impactful A/B tests, but down the road, when you do A/B testing of everything that's more important, like offers and headlines, you move on to these more dedicated small A/B testing in order to refine more and more your sign-up rate. Now next, you can A/B test the call to action button text. And this is actually something very important to A/B test, and this is the text that people will see on the button. So if we look at this sign up form, for example, in here, we have sign up. We can A/B test something different, like get 10% off or profit from our exclusive offer, and so on. A/B testing the call to action is usually very important, and here are some examples. So get my discount, sign me up, unlock offer, get 10% off. You can get as creative as you want and A/B test as much as you want. The call to action button text is an important A/B test, and I should have put it before the design. It's actually very important, and I highly recommend you also to test it out. It's going to affect your sign-up rate more than the design, for example. Now, the final thing that you can A/B test is the form fields. Well, on top of my head, I will always recommend you to only have one field to fill within your sign-up form, and it is the email, and that's it. But for so many brands, they might need more information like the language or the name. It's always nice to have your potential customers' names, not only email addresses, but you must know that the more information you ask for, the lower your sign-up rate is going to be. So try to A/B test if you want, but start always with one field, which is the email. Well, luckily now on Omnisend, we can have like multiple step pop-up. We are going to see how to set it up in a few minutes. But with this multi-step pop-up, you can ask for different information. So you start by the email, you collect the email, then on the next stage, you ask for more information if you want. But always keep it a rule. The less you ask for, the better it is. Remember, no one likes to give others their personal information, so don't ask for a lot. Keep it simple. Make signing up to your list super simple. This was actually one of the first rules we've talked about at the beginning of this course. For most brands, they would want to have the name and the email addresses. This would be enough for most of them, but even just asking for the name can greatly affect your sign-up rate negatively. So I know having the name is very nice because it means that you can personalize the emails more, talk better with your customers, communicate with them better. But if it's hurting your sign-up rate in a very big way, it's not worth it. That's why it's super important to do this A/B test. Now that you know all of these things about sign-up forms, let's move to Omnisend and let's see how we can make all of this come into life using Omnisend. The first thing you need to do is to add Omnisend to your Shopify store and to make sure that the two accounts are linked. So from your Shopify dashboard, I need you to go to Apps and in here to search for Omnisend. And all you need to do is to install the app on your Shopify store. And as you can see, this app has almost 3,000 reviews with a rating of 4.8. If you are interested in building your email marketing system, I highly recommend you to use Omnisend for many reasons, but mainly because it's one of the most user-friendly and at the same time advanced email marketing software for Shopify stores. But not only that, what I think makes or breaks the deal with Omnisend is actually their support team. They have an amazing support team. They reply directly to all the questions. And not only that, if you are already making sales, most probably they are going to give you a success manager that will help you planning, putting the strategy, even with the technical things. They will have weekly meetings with you. You will have full access to them. It's an amazing support, and I have use Omnisend with very big accounts, like making millions of dollars every year, and the support team was amazing. Their communication is amazing. So I highly recommend you to use Omnisend. And if you use the link you will find in the description and the coupon code, you will get 30% off on the first 3 months with Omnisend. This video is not being sponsored by Omnisend. I'm recommending it because I truly think it's one of the best out there. And again, their support team is super amazing. So you install this on your Shopify store, and just by installing it, practically you get almost all the job done. After installing, we need to fill in here our business information in order to create our Omnisend account. I will do that and get back to you. Once you fill in your business information and you click on Get Started, Omnisend will be creating your account for you and it will be synchronized with your Shopify store. In here, the first thing you can fill out is your brand assets. So you can have the logo, the colors, the fonts, in order to make your work later on easier. So you can start by selecting the logo, then in here changing to your brand colors. I'm not gonna do this, but definitely do this. Then you have in here the heading, so which fonts you want to use, and same for the body text. And finally, you can add your social media links as well. So if you are linking to any of your social media profiles within your emails, the links will be already there. I highly recommend you to fill out all of this because in this way you make your work way easier later on. I will do this later and move to the Omnisend dashboard. And as you can see, it's a very simple dashboard. In here on the left, you can find everything that you need, and we are going to go over almost everything in here. But for now, the first thing that we want to do is to start with forms, because this is what we have discussed so far in this course. So let's click on forms. And as you can see, they are telling you why this is important. So let's click on preview and launch form. So this is actually the quickest way to create your first form. I will go back in here and click here on view other form types. And so in here they are like giving you a shortcut, but I prefer to go over everything so you see all the different options that you have. So when you click on view other form types, you have in here basically access to all the forms that are already built on Omnisend, and you can choose any of these forms and modify it, adjust it, and so on. And even after choosing one of the forms, by the way, you can duplicate and you can change things inside of it. As you can see on the left, we have the goals, we have the theme, we have the type and the form settings if you want to filter by these options. And in here you have some recommendations. This is the spin and win one. This is a normal, for example, sign up. And as you can see, you have a lot of templates that you can choose from. And by the way, and here they have this AI feature where they do some like branding by default, so you can also profit from this. I will go with like simply choosing collect subscribers and see what options I have. As you can see, they are giving me like the spin the win, and also they are giving me options with get free shipping, which is the offer. In here, for example, this is a two-step sign up. We are going to tackle this in minutes. This is also a micro yes multi-step first purchase discount. What else do we have? We really have infinite options to choose from. I will pick one of them and simply show you how to modify it. So I will go with this one and click on use template. So this is the dashboard that you need to get familiar with. It's the Omnisend editing dashboard. So this is the form, and below in here you can see what you are changing. So we talked about the multi-steps forms. I'm not sure if you understood well how they work. So now you will be seeing them visually in front of you. So as you can see in here, we have step 1, we have step 2, and we have success message. So the step 1 is basically the first thing our store visitors are going to see. Then we have step 2, so people move from this step to this when they click on yes, get 10% off. Then we have the success message, which happens after they submit their emails. Okay, and this is what people who are already subscribers are going to see. And as you can see, all of these tabs are already branded, so everything is like working together, but you most probably need to modify this. I'm going actually back because I want to choose a form to make it simpler to you and to me. I want to change a form where the email address is being requested on the first page, on the first step, and this is something I highly recommend you to do. Don't do something like this. This is not practical. Don't add friction. Don't add another thing to click. Don't add a friction. Don't add friction. Don't make your customers click another thing in order to reach this step. So I will go back and actually be a little bit smarter about choosing the form. So let's move and see which one I like the most. I will go with this one. So I will click on use template. So as you can see in this form in here, they are directly asking me in the first slide to show the email. This form layout is very nice. I have an image in here, I have text, but I need to tell you directly that this is not going to look nice on mobile unless the image disappears on mobile. So in here you can preview the form on mobile. If you click in here, as you can see, this is a mobile form. It looks amazing, and this is the desktop form, and also it looks very nice. On the left in here, we have the general settings of the pop-up. First, we have the behavior, then we have the theme settings. We'll discuss both of them, but let's start with the theme settings, and it's mainly related to the general appearance of the pop-up. So first we have the form layout, and the first thing we need to choose whether we want our pop-up to be a pop-up, a flyout, this is the small thing that comes from the corner, a landing page, or an embedded form. In our case, it's going to be a pop-up. You can test out flyouts. I always find that pop-ups perform the best. And then you have the form width, so you can make it bigger if you want or smaller. I recommend you to always stick with something close to 600 pixels, don't exceed this. Then you have the background image, so you can like change the background position, change the image, as you can see, like remove the image entirely even. Okay, and in here you can remove or replace the image. You can change the form position on the page. I always recommend you to keep it center. This is for the general settings of the form layout. Then we have the form styles in here. So how do you want to manage the corners? Do you want them to be like this, or maybe more like this? And you have more options in here to change. So you can even change the corner size, change the border width, change the overlay color, and so on. I will keep it as this one actually. I like it the most. Then we have the settings of the buttons, and this is where you need to do a little bit of work to brand these assets. So you can change the button color. You remember we've talked about A/B testing the design. So this is part of the A/B testing. So maybe you can choose, instead of having the purple one, you can run an A/B test. Instead of having the purple one, you will have the white button and see the difference in performance, or this one. These are already set by default based on the pop-up theme that we have chosen, but when you click in here, you can also change everything. So you can change the style in here, the color, the font, the text color, the alignment, the border width, and as you can see, everything, the padding and everything. I'm not gonna change this because it looks already amazing, but you can do the same. You have 3 types of buttons: primary, secondary, and I'm not sure how to pronounce this one, so let's skip it. Okay, and let's go back in here. After buttons, we have the fields. So basically, we're changing everything related to the fields in here. And we've chosen this style. We might choose this style to have it like this. It's really up to you. And in here, you change the corners, the colors, same thing. You're changing basically how the fields look like. So just to keep the things clear in terms of, let's say, words, this is what we call fields, and this is what we call button. Okay, I will go back to this one. I think it's nice, and basically that's it. In here you just can change how the close button is showing. And then we move to behavior, which is the most important part, and this is where we decide when and how we want to show this form. So the first thing we have is the audience management. So if you want to add a tag to people who sign up through this form, you can add the tag in here. You can decide to enable double opt-in and enable reCAPTCHA. Well, enabling reCAPTCHA is not a must, but enabling double opt-in is a must in so many countries, especially in Europe. So basically what you do when you choose this option, your potential customers, when they sign up to this form, they will be receiving an email to confirm their subscription. So what are the pros and cons of keeping this on or off? If it's on, it means that anyone who signed up to your newsletter is intentionally signing up. This is a real email. They need to go to their inbox, make sure that the email is there, confirm the subscription, so they have already engaged with your emails, which is a good thing. Also, it's legally requested in so many countries. But at the same time, when you make this on, it means that you're adding so much friction to the sign up process, especially that in most cases the confirmation emails are going to land on the junk. So basically your customers need to go to their Gmail or to the email provider, need to go to the junk to check if the confirmation email is there and confirm. So there are so many steps involved, which makes signing up to your newsletter or to your email list harder and more complicated. But again, if you are located in a Europe country, you must keep it on, and it will help you to keep your list clean. So legally it's requested, and also it will help you to keep the list clean, but it makes things more complicated. So most probably it will lower the submission rate. Now, after this, we have the scheduling. So basically, if you want it to be Then we have the scheduling. So let's say you are doing a pop-up for Black Friday and you want to turn it off after Black Friday. You can schedule when to start and when to end this pop-up, when it will start to appear and when it will end. Then you have the display, and this is what we've talked about. So decide when do you want to show this form to a visitor. Okay, so first we have display form based on page rules. So how much people have scrolled through the page. You can start with 30%. It's a very nice starting point in here. But as you can see, you have page visits. So the number of pages someone visits. You have the time on page. So if you want to, for example, show it after 5 seconds. So basically, when you choose these two options, you're telling Omnisend that if this happens or this happens, show the pop-up. And finally, we have the exit intent pop-up. And for the exit intent, we need to create a totally different pop-up because the text will be different. Remember in the example we have seen, the text for an exit intent pop-up would be something like, wait before leaving or exclusive offer before leaving. So it needs to be a different pop-up. And in here, you can have a custom trigger if you want. This is advanced, we're not gonna go there. Then we have the targeting. In here, like you can have more control of who you see your pop-up and when. So when you go in here, you will see like you can target based on visitors. So for example, I don't want to show it to existing contacts because they are already my subscribers. And in here, you can choose on which pages to show it and so on. I like to keep it simple, so just don't show it to existing customers. And I will go back. And in here we have visibility. So do you want to show it on all devices, on mobile, on desktop? So if you have an exit intent pop-up, most probably in here you will go with desktop only because it doesn't work on mobile properly. And then we have the frequency. So how frequent someone is going to see the pop-up after closing it. I think 1 day is the perfect number. Like seeing it once per day is fine. And by the way, now we have an option to add a teaser. So even after someone closes the pop-up, they can still see it. So when you click here on add option, you have the teaser. So the teaser is basically something like this. You can change where it appears on screen, but it's something that will remind your customers that, or your store visitors, that they have closed the pop-up. So if they want to reopen it, they can click in here and the pop-up will be opened again. Let's go back to the step 1 in here. So we have the frequency, and finally we have the A/B testing, which is the thing we have talked about a lot. I will keep this for the end of this tutorial where I show you to do the A/B testing, but let's now see how to modify this pop-up. So this is a simple drag and drop editor, super simple, very similar to any other block editor online. You click in here. Whenever you click on an element, you can modify the content, the appearance, everything. So you have the colors, the fonts, and what's written inside. And in here you have the layout. So if you want to change something related to the full layout, you can do it from here. In here, this is the headline, and this is one of the things that I have asked you to A/B test. This is part of your A/B testing strategy. Then you have the text, the email, and the button. This is a multi-step form. So what happens when someone fills the first form? When they fill the first form and click on get 10% off, Omnisend will already collect their email addresses. Then on the next step, we can ask them for more information. In this way, we get more information about our potential customers without hurting the sign-up rate, because if someone just wants to give us their email addresses, they can stop at the step 1 and that's it. Also in here, you can add as much elements as you want. So from the left in here, you will see all the different options that you can add. So you can add like spacing, you can even change the layout, you can add more inputs, a drop down, checkout, button, whatever you want. You have so many elements in here that you can add. And let's say, for example, I want to add a text. I just need to drag and drop, and I modify the text from here. Same, if I want to add a drop down menu, let's say I want to let them choose the language, their preferred language, I can do it from here. And in here you can change the full layout. So if you want to make it like 1 column layout, 2 column, you just click and drag. So for example, in here we click out. So this is the step 1. When someone clicks on get 10% off, they will go to the step 2, where in here, for example, they are filling their phone number. Omnisend can help you manage SMS and email marketing in the same place. So you can have even have them together on the automations. So if you are located in a country where SMS makes sense, this is something you can definitely do, collecting your customers' email addresses. Or you can simply in here ask them for more information, like their name, for example, or if, for example, you sell supplement for dogs and the type of supplement will be different depending on how many of their dog type. You can ask them about their dog type or breed or something like this. So in here you can ask about more information as much as you want, basically. And finally, you have the success message, which happens when someone signs up. In this case, in this form, for example, they are offering the coupon code directly on the success form. So after finishing the steps, your potential or your visitors will be able to copy the coupon code and use it directly on Shopify on their purchase. This is something I highly recommend you not to do. Well, I will tell you the pros and cons. When you put it in here, you make it easier for customers to use the coupon code. You make the process easier for them, which is positive. But it means they have no reason to go to the emails and open an email from you to get the coupon code. So what I prefer to do is to set up a welcome flow, and we are going to talk about this a lot in details later on, and to give them the coupon code within the email, because in this way I know that after signing in they must go and confirm the opt-in, then they will receive the email and they will click the coupon code and get it from there, copy it from the email. So by offering the coupon code in the email and not here, I basically force them to confirm their subscription, to open an email from me, which is very good for later, because it means that whenever I'm sending emails, I'm increasing the probability of these emails landing on their inbox instead of landing on their junk folder. Okay, so this is something I highly recommend you not to do. Always offer the discount code within the welcome flow in the first email. I will remove it from here actually and simply put thank you for joining. And as you can see, we have finally the message that you will receive if you are already a subscriber and trying to subscribe again. And finally, we have the teaser, which we've talked about. So in here, like instead of all of this, it could be like just enjoy 10% off. And that's it. When you click on save, in here, let's choose to see all emails, so it's still draft. I will go back in here and I will enable it. Once you do that, you will see the pop-up directly showing on your store, and we are going to see it now. Let's click on stay on free plan and click continue. So if we go back now to our Shopify store and we click on preview, as you can see, the pop-up is showing now and I can't fill it from here. So I will fill my email, and this is the second step. I will simply skip it, and this is the thank you for joining. If you go back now to the Omnisend dashboard and you go to audience contacts, you can see my email address mentioned in here. If I click on in here, I can see more about this contact, so when they have signed up and so on. Now let's talk about A/B testing, because I believe this is one of the most important things that you should be focusing on. You've set up your first form and you want to start A/B testing something in here. So I will click here on the same form, and in here I will click on A/B test. So what happened in here is that Omnisend basically created two versions of the same pop-up, version 1 and version B. What I need to do first is change something on the version B in order to A/B test this thing basically. So I will click on this in here, and I'm modifying the second copy. So let's say instead of enjoy 10%, I would put get. Let's say I'm A/B testing the headline, get 10% off your first order. So I have tested a different text, first order. And you can do the same to anything, like if you want to A/B test the colors or something. But remember, always A/B test only one thing at a time to know what's the thing that actually improved the number. So you click on go to A/B test, you click on save and close. And now let's go back one more time in here. And if we go to the A/B testing, we can see the test. We are splitting it between 50% on the version A, 50% on the version B. So it's fine. I will click on start A/B testing. You can change the percentage, so show the copy 1 to less people than the copy 2. But I think in order to make your test valuable and to make sure that the A/B test is actually like the results are actually accurate, you need to keep it 50-50. So Omnisend will be showing 50% of the new traffic, the version A, and 50% of this traffic will be seeing the version B. And after a week or so, you will see the results, or after a certain time, you can see the results of the A/B testing, and Omnisend will tell you which one is the winner version, if there is a winner version. And you click here on start A/B testing, and basically that's it. Again, the same thing can work to A/B test anything, all of the things that we have discussed in this course so far. So don't be shy about it. A/B test, make sure that you are refining this pop-up form in order to increase the sign-up rate as much as possible. The more emails you collect, the bigger your list is, and the more money you can make out of email marketing. To the second chapter of this course, and it is how to structure a highly converting email campaign. And I've put this chapter in here because, in my opinion, learning how to craft a good email is a skill that you must acquire before learning how to set up your full email marketing system. With your email marketing system, you will be working on two things. You have first the flows, which are automated based on your customers' behaviors. So a welcome flow for people who signed up, an abandoned cart flow for people who left items on cart, and so on. And you have the weekly campaigns, so the things that you send weekly or maybe twice a week, and so on. And all of these things are emails. So learning how to craft them, how to turn them into money-making machine is something super important. That's why in this chapter I will focus on helping you to acquire this skill, and everything else that I mentioned, like flows, campaigns, and so on, will be discussed through this course, so you don't need even to worry or to think about it. I will show you everything, how to make them, how to apply them, everything literally. So whenever you are crafting an email, clarity is key to conversion. This is something that you need to keep in mind. When someone is checking anything now, it should be super clear, and with emails it should also be very clear, because design isn't the problem, clarity could be. If you want to drive real clicks and sales, your campaign needs three things: a reason to open, a reason to click, and a reason to act now. And I will show you the structure I recommend you to use for all of your emails, and this structure has been tested and tried thousands and thousands of times, so it works perfectly well. But before we start there, I want to explain a little bit the difference between these terms. For an email to perform well, we look at several KPIs. We have first the open rate. So how many people open the email? This is a very important metric. We see it as a percentage, and usually if it's above 20%, 25%, it's a very good sign. It means 25% of your email list is actually opening your emails. The second metric we look at is the click-through rate. So someone opened the email, they click after opening it, and this is where the content of the email plays a very big role. And finally, for sure, we have the spam and unsubscribe rates. So when we talk about a reason to open, a reason to click, and a reason to act now, this is what we can actually manipulate and test within our campaigns and improve over time. So let's start by seeing the structure I recommend you to use, and we are going to discuss all of this in details. So first we need to start by the subject line, and the main objective or the main goal of the subject line is to get people to open the email, because this is the first thing people are going to see on their inbox. So if it's not good, people are not going to click, and no one is going to receive your message. What I recommend you to do is to keep it short, 30 to 45 characters, and make it very clear and use curiosity. You want people to click. You want them to be curious about knowing what's happening within the email. So make sure your subject line is catchy, it grabs their attention, and make them open the email. So here are some examples. This changes everything. This is super good. This is a subject line with most probably a high open rate. Your VIP code ends tonight. This is also a very good subject line with urgency. I'm telling them their coupon code or their offer is going to end soon. And back in stock, your favorite just returned. This is also a good subject line. If you are doing an offer like a 20% off or 30% off, for sure you need to include this in your subject line, because nothing can beat a good offer. So your subject line should be clear, should make them click in order to open the email. If you are offering a coupon code, don't put it on the subject line. Don't put the coupon code itself in the subject line. Tell them they will get a 20% off if they open the email. So they will open the email and get the coupon code. With your subject line, you need to be very cautious, because if your subject line looks spammy, there is a very high probability that Gmail or other email providers are going to put your emails on junk folder, which is very bad. There is a tool that I'm going to show you later that will tell you if your subject line is spammy or not and how you can modify it to make it safe. But in general, try to avoid all caps and spammy words like free, urgent, and act now. I highly recommend you also to use emojis. If they fit with the tone of the subject line and your brand, they usually help to improve the open rate. And it's always very healthy to A/B test two different subject lines. So if you are sending a campaign, always try subject line 1, subject line 2, and see which one performs the best. You are now familiar with A/B testing, and I will show you how to do it. And over time, you will have more data and you will see what type of subject lines resonate best with your audience. Now we are finished with the subject line, and we are going to start talking about the main structure or the structure of the email itself. And the first thing that you need to focus on is the headline. This is the main text they will see when they open the email. So if you look at this image in here, you can see that this is the headline, herbs that work. This is the first thing they are going to see, so it should be good. And it should reflect and directly say what your email is about. So here are some examples. New drop just landed, summer just got better, this one's going fast, 20% off, Black Friday, ending today. Whatever is the main subject of your email, remember every email should only have one subject. This is what you should be reflecting on your headline, the direct subject of your campaign, the direct subject of this email. Keep it short, punchy, and aligned with the subject line. So keep it short, punchy, and aligned with the subject line. So this is again a very good example. We have a very clear headline and we have some text below it. We're gonna talk about it now. Next, or it's actually almost the same section, it's the banner image or hero section. In this case, it was all of this. In this case, in here, it is this one. It should clearly show the product or offer, and try to avoid any cluttery design, and try to make the text and the image contrasting well. So I should be able to read the text without effort. If you go back in here, you can see that I have a very nice header section, a very nice headline, and I can easily read the text. So the image was designed in a way that the text contrasts very well with the background. As you can see, there is no clutter in here. I can directly read, and the button is very clear. If you go back in here, same as well. This is super important. You may remember, it's very important to make it easy for someone to read the email. Most people are going to just look quickly, so make it very good looking. You can always use Canva or Canva AI tools in order to design these images. They are super simple to make. Then we have the body text, and this is the text that you are going to have within the email itself. It could be this text in here. It could be the text you will have even below, down the road. But this is where you need to explain the offer or what you are trying to communicate in this email. You need to introduce the product if it's a new arrival, mention any urgency or exclusivity, link to the product page or collection, and make sure not to have very large texts. We will talk later about text-based emails, but in here we're still talking about the branded type of emails, the ones that looks nice, the ones that you receive a lot of time from other brands. So as you can see, the text in here is short, it's direct, it tells us directly what this email is about. So for example, in here, get ready for direct messages from Corbin, trust us, they are the best part of the inbox. Inspo for elevating social and solo moments. They are telling us about the real value we get out of signing up to their newsletter. And this is a coupon code with a very clear call to action. You can always use bullet points in order to deliver the message. So like, for example, if you want to mention your shipping information or add some kind of urgency, you can always use things like that. If you are using AI to design your emails or images or something, make sure whatever you're doing is aligned with your brand itself. We're gonna touch more on AI later in this chapter, but just this is to keep in mind for now. After that, we have social proof. It's very important to add social proof in your emails based on the email type. So if you are sending an abandoned cart email, so for people who left items on the checkout, you must include social proof because these are people who were checking out and for some reason they stopped. So there is some kind of a trust issue in there. There is something that wasn't making 100% sense to them. So adding social proof, reviews will help them to make up their minds and buy your products. The need of social proofs within the emails will differ depending on which stage you are sending the email and for which people you are sending this email. So consider it based on the email topic. So there are so many ways of how you can add social proofs. You can add direct reviews like that, or reviews, or like you can see in here 300 plus reviews and so on. You can also add UGC content as a way to do social proof, and you can use AI to create this UGC content. Just make sure it looks natural and it looks good. Now, the next very important part of your email design, and we are still talking about like the main thing that your customers are going to see, is the call to action. And this is what you can see in here, the button. As you can see in here, when someone opens this email, they can directly see everything. They can see the logo, they can see the headline, the body text, and the button. They don't even need to scroll down. So that's what I recommend you to do. Have all the main message in the first part of the email. Then down the road, you can explain more, you can add social proof, you can add UGC, you can show more things about the product. But the first page of the email, let's call it above the fold, so before scrolling, whether on mobile or on desktop, should have all the most important information in there. And this is what you can see in this image in here, in this email example. The call to action is this button in here, and it's very important on each email to have one call to action, very clear call to action, and that's it. So don't invite them to use the coupon code and read the blog post and visit your YouTube channel in the same email. This doesn't work. It's gonna confuse them. They will not be taking any of these actions. You are sending an email about the discount code. So the call to action, the only call to action you should include within this email is to use the coupon code. You can repeat the call to action, definitely, but you shouldn't mix and match different call to actions. One purpose only. If you are inviting them to read a blog post, this is what you should be doing. Always make sure that the colors contrast very well. Again, it's very important to make it easy for customers or for people to read the email. And for the call to action, you can use direct things like shop now, use get 10% off, use your coupon code, and so on. And you can always A/B test different call to actions, whether colors, text, and so on, and see what works the best. Then we have the footer, or the final part of the email. This is where you include your social media links, a link to unsubscribe, some info about your brand. Then here you can have different, let's say, things linking to pages and so on. It doesn't matter because this is like the footer of a website, okay? But within the email itself, only have one call to action, one link that they need to visit. Again, so just to summarize, whenever you're designing an email campaign, you need to keep it focused. So every campaign email should only have one purpose. Don't promote 5 things in one email unless it's a collection. If your goal is to push a bestseller, that's it, push the bestseller. Everything should be drive toward that click. Everything in this email should be inviting your readers to click on this button. So if you look at this email from Casper, the message is very clear. There is one call to action and they click on it, and that's it. Now, the email shouldn't be short. You are not only forced to have like one section on the email. No, not at all. Your email can be long, actually. You can have a lot of information in there. But again, I think the first part of your email, this is a must, this part in here. And down the road, you can add whatever you want as long as it respects these rules and as long as it is in parallel with your offer. I want to show you now some examples of emails that you can get inspired from, and to show you how what we have discussed is actually applicable on all of these emails. So this is an email from Casper, and they are offering a 25% off the perfect bed set. And as you can see in this first page in here, the headline is very clear. It's reflecting directly the topic of this video. So whenever I'm like looking at it, I directly know there is a 25% off on the perfect bed set. And in here, they have added like some more information about their offer if you want, but this is very clear. When I look at the email, I can directly know what it's talking about. And as you can see in this part, they have the headline, the body, and the call to action with a very nice image. If you scroll down, they will show you the different items that are within this bed set, so if you want to shop them. And in here, they have the footer. Very simple, very clean, very straightforward. Now, if you look at this one in here, for example, this is a different type of emails. In here, they are talking about like tips. So this is a content-based email. They are sending content for their customers. They are not sending an offer. So as you can see, again, we have a very clear headline, a very clear call to action to visit the article. And if you scroll down, they have linked in here more articles and they have the footer. So when you see this email, you can directly know the topic of this email, what they are trying to tell you. It's not confusing at all. It's very direct, very readable, very legible. Now, if we look at this third example, this is in here, for example, a very good example. You have the direct offer. They are telling you what it's about. They are giving you the coupon code and for how long it's going to work, and with a clear call to action. And if you scroll down in here, they are giving you examples of products and how much you are saving, which is very good, with a clear call to action. So this is a sale. That's why they are linking, I think, to their best top seller products in here to be able to buy them directly, or if you want, you can go to the full store and check it from here. You need to apply the same logic to your emails, and remember, you have this amazing website to go in here and get inspired. So let's say, for example, you are on the makeup. I will go makeup and I can see what are the options. So if we go to this one, for example, you can see that the same rule applies to any email. You have always a very clear call to action with a text. You have the button, you have an image, and below it you will see more information. It's very simple, it's not complicated at all. And for example, in here they have put some special ideas, some special UPSs. You can definitely do that when you are designing your email, and they have the footer. That's why when you start designing your emails, I really recommend you to spend time in here exploring the different options. It's not very hard to create a nice email. I usually recommend my clients, if they are doing this job by themselves, not hiring us to do it for them, to create templates on Canva. So how they want their emails to look like, then apply it on Omnisend. So this is another example of a very clear call to action with a very clear message. And if you go down, also very clear email. This is not very complicated to make. I know they look very fancy, but they are not at all complicated to make, because basically you can design all of this as images and just upload them to Omnisend. Now let's talk a little bit about AI and how you can use it to make your emails better. And by the way, if you want me to create a full video about AI for email marketing, please let me know in the comment section below, and I would be more than happy to create a detailed video about this topic. AI can greatly help you with your email marketing, and it can help you basically with everything: drafting subject lines, preview texts, campaigns, everything. Like even the strategy, it can help you with all of this. But whenever you are using AI, you might have the issue of sounding like a robot, and this is not something that we want. At the beginning of this video, I told you that the purpose of collecting emails is not just to create a list, but it is to create a community, to get people to love our brand, to create a special connection with your potential customers. And you can't do this if you are just like taking content from AI and pushing it to your list. No, this is not how you should be approaching this. You need to think about AI as your creative assistant, so it's there to help you, but it's not there to get the job for you. So let me talk about this by telling you like how you can use AI. First, you can use it definitely for the written content. So in here, you need to focus on the tone and the brand first. It's very important to make sure that whatever you are sending to your customers sounds like you, sounds like your brand. Before you generate anything, you need to tell AI who your brand is, like what's your brand is about, how you usually communicate with your audience. Second, who you're talking to. So are you talking to busy moms, or to skincare lovers, or to watch geeks? And finally, what your offer is and what action you want them to take. Let's say you are using ChatGPT. It's very important to make sure that ChatGPT knows your brand very well and that they know what you are talking about. So every brand will have a different tone, a different style, a different way to communicate, especially if you have a small business and your customers are used to you as a person to be talking to them. So in this case, you need to double focus on making sure that everything that's happening or everything that the AI is giving you is aligned with your brand and with your tone. This is super important, and I've seen so many people fall on the trap of not respecting this. Again, with ChatGPT, for example, you can get help with everything: the subject lines, the preview text, the content of the email, the structure, everything, even design inspirations. You can also do something that I think is super smart, is to feed ChatGPT some of your old communication or examples that you like, or content from your old emails or from other brands that you like, and ask it to mimic and copy the style. Now, the second thing that you can use AI for is to create the visuals, so the images of the emails. And in this case, you can even ask ChatGPT to create the full email, like from beginning to start. But sometimes you will see errors, sometimes you would need to change things. In this case, you need to use Canva in order to change the image that you are getting from ChatGPT. But the easiest way, it would be to create the normal visuals, so the images that you are going to use within the email. I think it's easier to create the images only on ChatGPT than do the full design on Omnisend or on Canva, in my opinion, but it's really up to you. There is no limit of how much AI can help you. You just need to find the flow that works best for you. And using AI, you can generate header banners, lifestyle product scenes, visuals, review style UGC visuals, and much more. You can even use it to generate logos for your emails, for your unique selling propositions, and so on. Now, the third way that you can use AI for your emails is to catch spam trigger words. And this is super important. There are words that are spammy, and most email providers are going to judge them as spammy. There are AI tools out there that can help you to know if in your subject line there are spammy words, or even within your email content. We don't want our emails to land on the junk. We prefer if they land on the inbox, but we know that a very big part of them will be landing on the promotions box. But let's hope at least we don't land on the junk, and we can avoid or improve our score by making sure that we don't have any spammy words. So for this, we have two AI tools, and both of these AI tools mentioned in here, they will help you to check if any of your words is spammy or not. And it's very easy to use. You just type your subject line and you will see, and they will give you replacements. What I usually like to do is I usually put my emails in here. I see the spammy words, take a screenshot, ask ChatGPT to replace the spammy words and give me a version without spammy words. You can ask ChatGPT directly to do that, but I find these tools to be more accurate and, let's say, more nerdy about it, so I like to use them. And by the way, they are free. Now, as I told you before, it's very important whenever you are using AI to stay on brand. So make sure that your brand voice is always respected. That's why tell ChatGPT about your brand voice, make it more familiar with your brand. Always save 2 or 3 approved emails or visuals or copies to feed to ChatGPT in order to refresh ChatGPT about what your brand is about and how to communicate with your audience. By giving AI examples, you always make your work easier. And finally, don't forget to make sure that you are consistent across all of your emails, all of your campaigns, whether in terms of language, communication, colors, layout, styles, and so on. When someone opens an email from your brand, they should be directly able to recognize that this is your brand, this is you talking to them. So my final tip for you, and it actually summarizes how I think you should be using AI for your email marketing system. Let AI do the first draft for you, but make sure you do the final edit. Don't only count 100% on AI to do everything for you. Think about AI as an assistant, someone to get more done in a quicker time, but not as a replacement to you and to your work. You are unique. And what makes your business unique is what you can add to this business. What differentiates you selling makeup from someone else selling makeup is the makeup products themselves, but also your uniqueness, the way you approach the subject. Most businesses now are small businesses that are around a person or a dream or a family business. And those businesses are special because they are unique and because each one of us is unique. AI can help you, but it can never replace you, and you should never accept it to replace you. So use AI as an assistant, not as a replacement. I promised you I'm gonna show you how this actually works. So this is Folderly, and I love this AI. You can simply in here type the subject line, put the text content, put the email content. You can simply in here type the subject line, put the email content, and it will tell you about all the spammy words. What I like to do usually, I like to take a screenshot, send it to ChatGPT, and ask it to like replace the spammy words with non-spammy words. And usually one round is enough to get everything done properly. We are now at chapter 3 of this course, and in this chapter we are going to discuss automations or flows. Let me explain to you a little bit quickly what flows are. So we've collected our customers' emails, and now the question is what we are going to do with those emails. There are two types of how we can use those emails. The first one is through sending normal emails, weekly campaigns or bi-weekly campaigns, or it's up to you or to your business. And the second way is through these automations. These automations are basically series of emails we send to our customers based on their behaviors, or to our potential customers based on their behaviors. So let's say, for example, someone signed up to our newsletter. We promised them, as you recall, in the Popup, a discount. So the first flow that we should be creating is the flow where they are going to receive the coupon code, and we call this flow the welcome flow. We are going to discuss it in details. But let me give you another example. Let's say someone is buying from your store, and when they reach the cart phase, something maybe interrupted them, or simply they changed their mind because they found out that the shipping is very expensive, or they still are not sure about their decision. In this case, we use email marketing to reach out to those people to remind them of what they have left in the cart. And I'm pretty sure if you shop online, you have received messages like these or SMSs like these. You left something on cart, do you want to get it before it expires, and so on. So automations are based on your potential customers. So automations are based on your contacts' behaviors. And there are so many automations that you can create, and they cover all of your customers' journey. So we have the welcome flow, we have the abundant flows, we have the win back flows, the sunset, the birthdays, and so many other ideas. And really, it depends on your business, but there are some basics that you should have in place. And in this course, I'm going to show you the basic flows that you must have and the ones that are going to bring you most of your sales. So let's start first by talking about flows. So email flows, these are automated emails, as we said before, that get sent based on what your customers do or don't do. And within Omnisend, you will see that there are triggers that can activate those flows based on these actions. So instead of sending one email to your whole list, you are sending the right message to the right person at the right time automatically. And this is the power of flows, because you set them up once and they run automatically. So every time someone reaches the checkout before buying, they start receiving the flow. And there are rules of when they leave the flow and when they enter the flow. It's like having a full-time sales team that works for you. So what exactly are flows? A flow is a sequence of emails that gets triggered by a specific action or condition. For example, someone joins your list, someone adds to cart, or someone who hasn't purchased in the last 90 days. We're going to discuss all of these now, but these flows run in the background. Once they are set up, you can keep them, you just need to maintain them, maybe A/B test, tweak them in the future when there is a big sale or something, or during Christmas, make them themed. But basically, most of the work is done once and for all. Before we start with the first flow, I want to explain why flows matter and why most stores miss out when they don't use them. Most stores focus on campaigns and promos, especially when you have Black Friday or Christmas or whatever. But 60% of your email revenue can actually come from the flows. So if you set them right, basically you will be making money on autopilot. Flows are timely, so they are triggered by what your customers is doing right now. This means that the probability of someone opening an email from a flow is very high because it's triggered depending on an action. It's not like sent randomly. And you will notice when we do an account overview that the open rates of flows is usually very high. Second, it's very personal because it's based on their behavior or on their order history. So if you are doing a VIP flow, for example, this is very personal. You are sending someone an email telling them, you know what, you are a VIP customer, I'm gonna give you special treatment, blah, blah, blah. So this is a very personal email based on how this customer interacted with our brand. And finally, it's consistent because you don't need to do it manually. They are running in the background. We will start by talking about the core email flows overview, and these are the ones that you should never ever miss. Again, there are so many flows that you can create, but these are the must-haves. First, we have the welcome flow, and this is the most important flow ever. This is the one that's going to get you most of the money. So you should never ever skip creating this one. This flow is triggered when someone subscribes, usually through a pop-up or form. At chapter 1, I showed you how to create a pop-up, and I told you not to give them the coupon code within the pop-up. So when someone signs up, your job is to send them the first email with the coupon code. But we are going to do more than this in the welcome flow, because this is a very important flow to create good connection and good relationship with your potential customers. So why it is important? It sets the tone for the relationship you will have with your customers. It has very high open and click rates because, again, you are offering the coupon code within the first email. So most probably anyone who's interested into buying is going to go and grab the coupon code, and it helps to convert cold traffic into buyers quickly. So if you are running Facebook ads, and if you are one of those people who don't like to do email marketing and think it's not important, at least set this up, because if you are running ads and traffic is going to your store and you are not capturing their emails, it means every time you want to reach out to those potential customers again, you need to pay Facebook through retargeting or through the normal campaigns. But when you capture their emails by offering this small discount, this small exchange, you are creating a new channel where you can communicate with them for free and make them convert. One of the easiest ways to improve your store conversion rate is to have this setup in place, to capture your customers' emails and send them the welcome flow. How we structure the welcome flow. You need to think about this flow as your first and only chance to make a great impression. Imagine that you are selling on a real shop, on a retail store. You are there to welcome your customers or your potential customers. You can talk to them. You can tell them about your products, about the store in general, what do you offer, and so on. But this is not the case online. You are not there. So the welcome flow is there to replace you. It's there to tell those newcomers about this brand and about what you sell. So profit from this chance, from these emails, in order to make a great impression. And always imagine flows as rooms. I think this is the easiest ways to understand them. So imagine the welcome flow as the welcome room. People enter this room. This is your entrance, your shop entrance. This is where you are going to introduce your brand and yourself. So in the first email, which is the one that you are going to send instantly, for sure we are going to offer the coupon code and we are going to introduce the brand. I usually recommend all of my clients to use this email to introduce themselves and to talk briefly about the brand and to explain in short terms why they have created this brand, what do we sell, and why should people buy from us. Then in the second email, we focus more on the brand story and the founder message. This is a great place to explain more, to create this personal connection. And on the third email, we focus on product education and on helping those potential customers to choose. And on the fourth email, we do reviews or UGC in order to create authenticity and make people trust us. And on the fifth email, we do a last call for discount. I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but regardless of the offer that you want to give on the pop-up, it should always be limited in time. People act way better if the offer is limited in time. So if you only give them 3 or 4 days to act, most probably they are going to act more than if you give them 2 weeks or if you don't give them the deadline at all. So always make your discount limited either on time or on quantity in order to give more urgency to this offer. And in this flow, we want to reflect this urgency. So first we give the coupon code, then in each of these emails, we remind our contacts that there is an offer there, and on the final email, we remind them that it's going to expire very soon. The number of emails in here will change depending on how long you want your offer to last. I usually find that 3 days offers perform the best. But again, it depends on the brand. If you are selling something very expensive that needs a lot of education and a lot of thinking, maybe you need a longer time window. So depending on this, you need to tweak these emails. So if it's only 3 days, it means that on the second email, you need to combine the 3 things: the brand, the product, education, and the reviews, all in the same way. You don't need to make all in the same email. You don't need to make your email very long. The most important thing is to mention all of these things at least briefly. Now, before moving into Omnisend to show you how to set up this welcome flow, there is also one thing that you can do, and I like this strategy a lot, and I think it's very effective, and it is to offer a discount ladder. So let's say, for example, you started by offering 10% discount on your pop-up, and after 5 emails, those potential customers didn't buy. They received the emails, but they didn't buy the products. So what I like to do is, like, after a few days, is to offer a discount ladder, a discount even bigger than the first one. Why I do that? Because in my opinion, this is my moment to make or break the deal. If people didn't buy through the welcome flow, most probably they are not going to buy again from my brand. So I try to offer a more generous discount. Sometimes I would offer it only on the bestseller. I don't need to offer it on all the products. So I offer it only on my bestseller. This could be a good strategy. And one of the brands that I worked with, and actually Shopify named their email marketing system as like one of their top 10 email marketing systems because it was super effective. We set up the welcome flow in a way that first we offered 10% discount, and at the end we offered 20% on our bestseller, only on our bestseller, and it performed very, very well. Now, one last thing that I want to mention, and I'm pretty sure that many of you are already asking this question: how would people leave the welcome flow? How do we stop receiving these emails? Because if I took the discount code, I shouldn't be going down the flow again. And you are totally right. So the rule to enter the room is to sign up to the pop-up. And within this room, there are rules to exit. So for example, if you did an add to cart, you move to the next room, which is the add to cart flow. If you proceeded with checkout and you left at the checkout, you move to the checkout flow room, and so on. If you purchased, you move to the thank you flow, which is for people who purchased. So within Omnisend, when we set up the flows, we set up the trigger in order for people to start the flow, to be part of this flow, and we set up the rules that make people exit this flow. So if someone is in your welcome flow, they will receive the first email, and the moment they do any of the other actions like add to cart, check out, or purchase, they will be moving directly to the next flow and they will be removed from this flow. So you don't need to worry about people receiving the wrong emails. Also, if you want to know more in details, the content of these flows and how you should structure them and so on, even if you want to have some ideas about the subject lines, the delays, the timing, and so on, I have created a full step-by-step guide for these flows. Just comment below flow and I would be more than happy to send it to you. And now we are going to move to Omnisend to start creating our first flow, and it is our welcome flow. Here I am inside of Omnisend, and now we are going to create together our first flow. From your Omnisend dashboard, I need you to go to automations, and in here you can explore all the different templates. By default, Omnisend provides a lot of templates that you can start from. It is going to make your work easier because most probably you will have the triggers set up, even the rules to exit the workflow set up, and so on. If you scroll down, you will see a lot of options that you can start from, or you can filter in here on the left and choose what works best for you. So we are creating a welcome flow, so let's choose welcome. And as you can see in here, you have welcome with 3 emails, welcome with 1 email and 1 text message, welcome, this is the Wheel of Fortune welcome, we're not gonna touch it, and we have finally this one if you want to use it. I will go with this one and click on customize workflow. It's always easier to start with a template, but remember, you can always make your work way easier by getting the guide I created for flows. So don't forget to comment below flows and I will send you the link. let's start first by understanding this dashboard in order to understand how this works. So in the middle in here, you are seeing the analytics. So in the middle in here, we see the analytics. So how many people entered the flow, how many people left the flow, and how many people completed the flow, and how many people are currently in this flow. This is important in order to give you an idea about how your flow is performing. I will take you to an active account during this course so you can see this more in action. And next in here, you see the trigger or the rules that manages this flow. And as you can see, customers enter the flow when they subscribe to marketing. So when they sign up through the pop-up, they will start in this flow. And customer exit the flow when they place an order. So we have only one exit condition we're gonna add to it, but basically now we're only exiting customers when they place an order. And next we have the trigger filters, and those are important in order to make sure that we are sending our emails to the right people. Remember, at the checkout page, people can still sign up to marketing while they are purchasing the product. Those people, for example, shouldn't be receiving the welcome flow because they have already purchased. So in this case, we should be filtering them out of this flow. And we do this by adding in here a trigger filter. And as you can see, this is the second one. Subscription method is sign up form. So we know that they have signed up through a form, not during checkout. We have also channel subscribed to as email, which is default. And finally, first subscription is true. And finally, we have this to make sure that only people who want to receive our emails are receiving them. If you want to change any of these rules, you just need to click on it. And as you can see, this window is going to be related to this item in here that we have selected. And as you can see, this is the trigger. These are the trigger filters. And if you scroll down, you will see the exit conditions. To this exit condition, I will add something, which is either someone added to cart or someone started a checkout. Because for those people, we are going to create different flows, different rules. So let me add another condition. So it's or added product to cart, and then we have another one which is purchased an item. Then we will have the purchased an item. Then we will have another condition for the people who started checkout. So we click on add exit condition and we look in here into this one, started checkout. And as you can see, if you click in here, there are so many things that you can use in order to decide when people exit a flow. And this could be used for other flows, or if you are creating something special. You just need to look in here and see what works for you. I will actually remove this condition because I don't want it. So I have these rules in here and they are right. I will click on update. Then after the trigger, we have the flow content. So first we have the delay. So how much time we want to wait between this step and this step, between someone entering the flow and actually sending the first email. Since in the first email, we are going to offer the discount code, we are going to tell them what discount code they should be using. This email should be sent automatically. You can even remove the wait 1 minute and make the email sent automatically immediately. Then we have the first email, another delay, the second email, another delay, and the third email. And those were in here by default because we've used an Omnisend template. But if you are creating this flow from scratch, or if you want to add to it, in here on the left, you will see the things that you can add. So for example, I want to add a delay, to add a fourth email. I will make it 1 day. And as you can see, you can even choose if you want to send it on a particular day of the week. And in here, to add the email, I just need to drag and drop and add the email in here. You can also add SMS, push notification. You can also add SMS, push notification, and if you want to do split or A/B testing, you can add them in here as well. Okay, we will talk about A/B testing later and the split later. Now, the split, you might use it if you want to split your flow into 2 different performance. So let's say, for example, you want to differentiate, you are in the thank you flow and you want to differentiate the road the people who bought for the first time is taking, then the road the people who are buying for the second time are taking. So basically you decide to split the performance of the flow, to treat your those people in a different way. You use the split, and as you can see, if you add it visually, it's basically a split. You're splitting your flow into two. So when you click on it, you can see the rules and you can decide how you want to split your welcome or your trigger. So you can either use trigger filter, contact properties, and so on, in order to split the performance of your flow. So this is for the split. And now for the A/B testing, it's basically very similar. You A/B test. So you decide, I'm gonna A/B test this email, for example. I will have version 1 and version 2. So you create an A/B testing in here. And as you can see, visually it's clear. So we have road A and road B that are going together to lead to the same road. So basically you create version A in here and version B. Very similar to what we have done with the pop-up and the A/B testing in there. I'm gonna cancel this actually. Delete this. And I will go back to the 3 email structure. Now, once you decide how you want your emails to be or the structure of your emails, I usually recommend you not to duplicate the emails. I don't recommend you to duplicate the emails now or add them now. I recommend you to create the first template of your emails, because when you do, you can clone and use it again and again without repeating the same work, the boring work of adding logos and colors and so on. Now, let's see how you can modify these emails. So let's start with the first one. And as you can see, first we have the subject line. So welcome to, and in here, this is the account name. You can modify it and put it something static and add the discount code. Again, in the guide that you can get, you will have a lot of inspirations about this. And you can always use AI from here to help you. As you can see, this is new from Omnisend, by the way. So you can decide on the tone, translate, replace, simplify, shorten, whatever you want. So you write a prompt in here and the AI will help you to craft the subject line. I always recommend you to use emojis. And if you want to use personal information within the subject line, you can do that. So let's say, for example, you want to say, welcome Rihab, instead of saying welcome there or welcome without a name. You can click in here and add the first name. For sure, you should be first collecting the first names of your potential customers or of your contacts to be able to use them in here. Then we have the pre-header, and it is the preview. So when you receive an email, for example, on Gmail, you have the subject line and you have the preview below it. This is what we are changing. Again, you can use the AI in order to modify it. You have the sender's name, and I usually recommend my clients either to choose one of their team members to be taking care of emails. So the emails will be always sent from, let's say, Philip or Mike or whatever, or to create a virtual person that's taking care of the emails. It's very nice to make this relationship personal by even using a personal email. So let's say mike@yourbrand.com instead of sending it just from info@yourbrand.com. I know these are small details, but they make a lot of difference because people like personal connections, they seek them out, so try to enforce them. And finally, you have in here the email itself, so you can click on edit content or send a test email if you want to test your email and see how it's going to look on your mobile or desktop or whatever. And you choose the language. I'm going to click on edit content. So this is the email. And this is very, very similar to what we have seen with the pop-up. It's almost the same editor. In here you have the elements that you can add. In here you have the content of the email that you can change. And in here you have the settings. So what I usually recommend you to do is to create your emails on Canva as templates and bring them in here. Because if you want to design the emails directly within Omnisend, they are not going to look very fancy or very branded. So the best way to do it is to go to Canva and create the full email in there. So create the full design as images, then add those images to Omnisend one at a time. So this is an example of an email designed on Canva. So as you can see, this is the first page. It's an image. We have designed everything on Canva, put the text, the buttons, everything. This is the second slide with the information. For sure, this part can be done like this because if we want to make this dynamic, we can't add this as an image. We need to recreate it on Omnisend, which is difficult. So we've decided finally to remove this one and just keep the hey in here. But this could also be one image, or you can decide, for example, to add the header as an image and to add this text within Omnisend, then to add this part below as an image. It's really up to you, but the easiest way is to add everything as images. And this way you can make sure that on all devices the email is going to look good, whether they have light mode, dark mode, or no matter what device they are using. The only problem is when you design your full email as images is that you can't add personalization. So you can't have, for example, hello Rihab or hello Mike. So you need to always have the text as an image. If you want to have personalization within your text, in this case, you need to at least add the text within Omnisend as a text, not as an image. And this is the third part. So for example, in here, this is a little bit different because we have a lot of images and we need to make all of these clickable. So we want the customer to be able to access each of these products. So what we have done is we entered this part as an image, the above part, then each of these part or each of these images was entered as a separate image in order to be able to make each one of them clickable. So you need to manipulate in here the design, the work, in order to get the result that you want. And finally, this is the final part. We've done the same, we've used the same logic in here. So either you decide to design all of your emails on Canva and bring them to life into Omnisend by downloading them as images, or you can design your emails directly on Omnisend. Again, the problem with this is that you would have the limitation on how creative you can be and how fancy your emails are going to look like. This is first. Second, you need to double check that your emails look good on all devices, and a little bit to make sure that even on dark mode they look good, because the difference between light and dark mode is very big when it comes to emails. And if you want me to create a specific video about how to create emails on Canva and bring them to Omnisend, let me know, because this deserves a full video and I would be more than happy to create it. Just comment below and tell me and I will create this video for you. So now that you know your options, let's just take a few minutes to get familiar with this editor in here to see what we can do with it. So first you have in here the logo. If at the first step when you have installed Omnisend to your Shopify store, you have added the branded information, your logo is going to come in here by default, as well as the colors and the fonts and everything. That's why I recommend you not to skip the step at the beginning. So if you want to change your logo, you just need to click, and with the same logic to click on replace and you replace it. And on the right in here, you will have the settings of this element that you are selecting. So let's say I want to center it. Then you have the text and you have the coupon code. And then here it's a dynamic coupon code. As you can see, it's percentage. When it is dynamic, it means that the coupon code changes from one contact to another, and you can make it limited in time. So you can make this coupon code expire in a certain number of days, which is exactly what we want. Now, as you recall, when we are talking about designing the emails, I told you that I always like the emails to start with a very clear message, headline with an image and a call to action. And in order to do that, at least start by designing your first image on Canva. Now, there is another thing that you can do. If you let's close this one, and if you go to the campaigns of Omnisend, so if you go in here to campaigns and you click on view all campaign types, so we go to emails and let's choose email template. Let's put anything in order to be able to choose the email template. As you can see in here, there are some fancy emails already on the templates that you can use if you want to go with designing the emails directly on Omnisend. So these emails look all nice in my opinion, and you can start with any one of them. The only problem is that you might need to take some elements from the welcome and put it in here, so you need to be cautious. But let's say, for example, we go with this one. This should be branded if you have entered the brand information. But let me, for example, go in here and go with, let's say, closing, let's say. And these are the options. So you can pick one of them, for example, and after choosing it, let's say, for example, I will choose this one. You can click on use template. And what we can use is click in here and save this template. So we're gonna save it. Let's call it trial 1. Then we go back to our automation, to the welcome. And we go to the email itself in here. We click on edit. content. And what we can do is we can bring that template and put it in here. But there are some elements in here that I want to preserve, like this one, because I don't want to create it again. So I can click on it or even click on the full section. And you see this small save layout. I will click on save layout and I will call it welcome discount. Just believe in the process. Now you will understand what I'm doing. So welcome discount and click on save template. Then I will go in here and click on change template. So I will basically change the full template. And I can either like use directly one of these or I can use one of my saved. So I have saved this one. So I will click on use template. And as you can see now I have this template and I can start working on it. If I want to re-add my coupon code, I need to go in here to saved. And as you can see, it's in here. I just need to drag it and drop it. And that's why I have saved it in the first place. For sure, it needs time, so I need to change the colors and customize it and everything. But I wanted to show you how you can preserve a section that you want to keep. And from here, you can continue working. You can even decide to add the promo code yourself. So you go in here and you click on add elements. And as you can see in here, you have all the elements that you can add, and for sure you have the discount. So you can drag it and drop it in here. You change the text and you replace it. As you can see, for example, this is an image, not a text. It's an image because if you want to have these fancy fonts on Omnisend or on any other email providers, you can't unless you add these headlines as images. When an email is loaded on a computer, desktop, or on a mobile, the provider is going, or the email provider is going to download the easiest fonts, the website fonts. So these fancy fonts aren't going to load, and your email is not going to look as nice as you have in mind unless you design everything that's fancy as images, especially this font in here because it's fancy. Most probably browser don't have it already installed. So if you want to preserve the feel of your brand, if this is your brand font, for example, all of these should be added as images. And you will see like this is an image, this is an image, and everything that's fancy is also an image. So and so on. And what I recommend you to do is to start taking some time into designing your first email on Omnisend, getting familiar with how it works, understanding how your email is going to look when you do a sent email test, because this is going to play a very big role on your process. Once you finish setting up your email, you can always preview it in here and you can see how it's going to look. But I always recommend you to send the email, to send a test email and see how it looks on your browser. There is no preview as accurate as your browser. And here you can see the dark mode as well, as you can see, and you can see the light mode. So for example, if you look at this box, it was white in here. When you did the dark mode, it's going to be black. So take your time getting familiar with this, with the editor in here. Again, it's a very simple, it's a drag and drop editor. After that, because you can always go in here and save your template and reclone it along the way and reuse it again and again. This is if you decided to design your emails directly on Omnisend. If you want to go the fancier road, and in my opinion, it's the easier road, you do it on Canva and you bring the emails as images to Omnisend. Let's look at this email and try to clean it a little bit. So first we have the background in here, and this is orange because this is the template. Let's go with something white, for example. And this is an image, so we need to redesign it, most probably on Canva, and bring it in here as a PNG in order to replace it. I'm not gonna do that, but since this is the first welcome email, so I'm gonna remove this image actually and add a text. So I will go in here, add element, add a text, and I will put something like welcome to the club, let's say. I will make it very big, center it, make it white because I think white suits this better. So let's see where is the color. So this is the color. I'm gonna make it white, and I will make it actually more spaced. I will make it bold. Maybe I would even make it all caps. So let me see. Yeah, I will make it all caps. I think it's better. space it maybe a little bit less, so let's go with 3, and I will add next to and down to it, so I will duplicate it like this, and in here put, for example, get your 20% off, and under it available for 3 days only. Even here you can use the AI in order to help you with the text. I'm gonna make it white and bold, and maybe a little bit bigger. You can even make it bigger. Actually, this is not big enough, so I will go in here, I will select the text and go in here with something bigger. Okay, I can keep the image in here and in here directly add the offer, so I will remove this one. Exclusive offer with promo code. We don't want to write the promo code in here, we want them to take it from here. So get 20% off, you need to look at the text, blah blah blah, and in here we have the coupon code. So let's see the idea or how to modify this coupon code. Again, this is a dynamic coupon code. It means it's going to be different from one contact to another. So first we have reuse unique discount codes in this workflow. So each contact will receive the same unique code in every message within this workflow, which is amazing. So I'm going to choose it. And then in here, it's a card discount. It's a percentage. Let's make it 20. And it's on all orders. We don't want to change anything in here. No need. Combination, if you want to allow to combine it with other offers. So with shipping discounts, for example. And this is where you define the expiry. So let it expire in 3 days. And this is the expiry format, and this is for what you want to put on the button. I'm gonna put get 20% off, and this is the button link. For sure you need to make sure that you are putting your website URL, and in here you can choose to directly apply Shopify discount. And you can change the button style if you want it to be primary, secondary, or whatever. I'm gonna keep it as it is, and you can here play around with the colors. So in this way we have set up this. I'm gonna remove this because we don't need it. And in here you can like modify this information a little bit more, make it more branded. You can even decide to add more. So you can go in here and add a text, for example. So you can go in here and add more text, for example, maybe add images of your products. So you go in here, you can either add the product grid from here, or you can add like layouts. So you go to add elements, you go to layouts, you add a 3-column layout like this. So sorry, again, you go to layout and you add one like this in here. And in here, for example, you show different products. So for each product, you put an image and you put the link. You can go as creative as you want in here. Again, when you finish designing this email, you just need always to save it, and you can always save it as a template if you want to use it in other emails. And I always recommend you, and remember to always send a test email whenever you are designing a new email to make sure that all links are working, that the images are clickable, that the design is nice and it looks good on mobile, and so on. The second flow we are going to talk about is the abandoned cart flow, and this flow is triggered when someone abandoned your store at the cart level. So this means someone went there, they added a product to cart and just left in there. In order for this flow to be triggered, the contact who is making this action should be already registered on your database, because otherwise Omnisend won't have the contact email in order to contact them. So the abandoned cart flow is triggered for already existing contacts. So either they are old customers or they are people who subscribed to your newsletter at some point and they didn't buy, or maybe both, and now they are coming back to add to cart. Why it is important? So it's triggered when someone adds products to cart but doesn't complete checkout, and it is important because usually the average cart abandon rate is 65 to 75%. And a good recovery flow can recover up to 20% of your lost sales, and it helps a lot with converting those almost ready customers. And because it's only triggered for people who are already on your contact list, this even makes it more and more valuable. So for this flow, we can have the same structure as the one that we will have for the checkout flow. You can a little bit tweak the text in there, make it like more toward the cart, more than the checkout process, but that's it. We will have 3 emails. In the first email, we will send a reminder with the product block. There is a block on Omnisend when you use the template of the abundant cart flow or abundant checkout flow that shows the items that were on your customer cart. So let's say, for example, I added a product A. Omnisend will detect that I have added the product A to my cart, and when they are sending me the email, they will show me this product or even multiple products if I have added multiple products. So the first one is a reminder. The second one is an email. Even on the first email, actually, you can like try to find a little bit the objections by adding reviews, adding the shipping policies. If you offer free shipping, repeat this. The idea is there is something that stopped those people from continuing from purchasing the product, so you need to find the objections. In email 1, you can keep it simple, just a small reminder with small fighting of the objections. In email 2, you can go heavily on fighting the objections. So think about anything that might stop people from buying your product and try to fight those within the email, whether it is trust, the shipping, the time of shipping, the price of shipping, whatever, or maybe they need more information about the product. And in the final email, you remind them that their cart is about to expire. You can always offer a discount code in this flow if you want. It's really up to you. You can even A/B test offering a discount code. I just don't recommend offering the discount code on the first email. At least start with it on the second email. And there is a trick that I like to do. I like to do it on the checkout abundant as well, is to split my cart. So I offer people who added more than $100, let's say, in cart, a discount after a few hours, and the others I don't offer them a discount. This is also a good strategy because now so many online shoppers are used to the idea of receiving a discount on their cart, so they do it on purpose. That's why keep the discount code for the second email or split your cart. After this, we have the browse abundant flow, and this is for people who browsed our website. So they went in there, they were active on the website, but they didn't add to cart and they didn't check out. They didn't do any of these actions. They were just active on site. So again, this flow is only triggered for people who are already on our contact list. We send them a reminder that, oh, we saw you active on site. So what's happening? Is there something that catched your eyes? We tell them about the new collections, the launches, and so on. It's important because it captures early interest. It's great for higher price and considered purchases, and it's very nice because it's a personalized email. So imagine you are on a website of a brand that you like, and suddenly you received an email, wow, we saw you checking this product. Do you want to know more about it? And so on. Don't expect this one to get you as much money as the others, as the cart or the checkout abundant flow, but it's also important to add it because it also improves the overall performance of your email marketing. So it's triggered when someone views a product but doesn't add to cart, and you can structure it just simply by adding 2 emails. One, reminder of the product, still thinking about it, for example, and the second, social proof and similar recommendations. Again, if you want to know more about these flows and about the structure and get inspirations, comment flows below and I will send you the link. Now, in addition to these 2 abundant cart flows, we have the checkout abundant flow, and it could be simply a copy of your cart abundant flow, but this time it's triggered when someone leaves at the checkout phase. You just need to duplicate your cart abundant flow and just change the trigger, and that's it. So this is everything you need to know for the abundant cart flows. Now we have the post-purchase flow, and this is the one that you will send for customers after purchasing from your brand. And this one is very important because it affects a lot the type of relation and connection you have with your customers. It's triggered when someone places an order, and it's very important to nurture them into repeat buyers. It builds loyalty, it reduces post-purchase doubts, and helps increase repeat purchases rates by up to 20%. So in this flow, you can be as generous as you want, and you can send as much emails as you want. The most important thing is to keep it interesting. In the first email, basically, you need to thank them for their purchase and tell them what to expect in terms of delivery, shipping. Give them your contact information in case they have any question, to make sure that they will get back to you in case there is something they didn't like. In the second email, you can tell them about the product education, tell them how to use the product they have purchased, how to profit from it, because you want to make sure that they have enjoyed buying from your store. With this email, you can make sure that they know how to use it the right way. In the third email, you do cross-selling with complementary products. In the fourth email, you do reviews. You ask them for reviews. If you didn't automate this with another app, you can do it in here, or you can ask for UGC images, ask them to take images with their products or with the experience. And then the fifth email, you can ask them to follow you on social media or tell them about your referral program and so on. Again, with this flow, you can be as generous as you want. You can add as much emails as you want. Just make sure that they are not boring. And the way you space these emails or you schedule them will depend heavily on your shipping time, on the product type that you sell, and so on. So if you're selling, for example, a gardening kit, you can't ask me for a review after 3 days. Okay, I need more time, but you need to do more education in this case, because you need to tell me how to use it, show me examples, inspirations, and so on. The post-purchase flow is very important, and it's one of the flows that you should never ever miss. After that, we have the win-back flow, and this one we send to re-engage inactive users. So basically, we decide that, or we can check it from our analytics, how often a customer should come back and buy from us. So if usually customers come back after 3 months, this should be our, let's say, frequency rate. Every 3 months, our customers come back to us. So what we do with the win back is we check out those customers who didn't come back after 3 months, and we send them a flow to remind them about the brand. So if your repetitive time, or if your frequency should be every 3 months, you can set it up to be sent after 5 months, for example, or 4 months. And basically we're trying to make them remember the brand, ask them to come back again, ask them maybe why they have left, and we can always offer them a coupon code. So it's very important to focus on this flow, because it's way cheaper to win back an existing customer than gaining a new one. And reactivation offers can bring back 10 to 15% of lost buyers, so why not set it up? In the first email, it should be like, we miss you, with a soft reminder. The second email, you should give them an incentive, a reason to buy, so a discount. And on the third email, you remember them of the discount. So this is the win back flow, and also it's one of the most important flows to set up. And after that, we have the sunset flow. And this flow is important because it will help you to keep your list clean. So basically with the sunset flow, we are targeting contacts that are not active. They are not opening our emails. They are not engaging with our emails. They didn't purchase. So we want to make sure that we want to ask them basically, do you want to stay on our list or not? Because if they are not active and they are on our list and they are not opening or engaging, they are lowering the reputation of our domain name and even the percentage of emails being delivered. It's very important to keep our list clean, and this sunset will help us to remove anyone or any contacts that are not engaging. So basically we set up this flow with a trigger for subscribers who haven't opened or clicked anything from us in the last, let's say, 3 months or 6 months, depending on the frequency of your emails. And it's very important to save you money, keep your list healthy, and improve deliverability. And for the structure, you can go with this one. Email 1, still want to hear from us, so you're asking them directly about this. Email number 2, reminder with benefits, or you can give them an offer, and so on. And then the third email, basically you're telling them, so do you want to hear from us? What you can do is at the end of this flow, you set up an action on Omnisend to tag any contact by the tag to be removed in case they haven't opened any email during this flow. So if a contact didn't open any email during the time of this flow, they will be tagged by to removed, and later on you would be removing and sunsetting all the contacts that are not active. So this is an example of an active account with all the automations set up. We don't have a welcome flow for this business. It's a little bit different. They don't want to offer a welcome offer, which is fine, but they have all the other automations set up. And as you can see, we have the site abundant, we have the browse, the abundant cart, the checkout abundant, and if you continue, we have the win back, the new customers post-purchase, the repeat buyers, the sunset, and the back in stock. And all of these are very important. In the guide that I provide with this course that you will get if you comment below flows, you will get screenshots of these different flows so you can see how they are structured, the triggers, how to set them up, even inspirations about subject lines and so on. Setting up these flows is very similar to setting up the welcome flow. Just make sure that you have the right triggers in place and that's it. After setting up these flows, I recommend you to let them run for a few weeks or even a month. Then after that, start doing your A/B testing and see how you can improve them. It's really enough to set them up and let them run and they will bring you money, but improving them will help you to improve their performance for sure and help you to get more profits and more sales. So one of the things that you can do is to A/B test in these flows, is to do the same thing that we have done with the pop-up. And the A/B testing could cover the subject lines, like you can test curiosity versus the clarity, or you can test personalization, so you can add your contact name within the subject line or the preview text and see how the performance differ, the open rate differ. Then you have the email timing. So when do you send this email? Do you send it directly after someone leaves the cart or after a few hours? Do you offer a discount or not? And so on. You can also test with product recommendations. So should you do dynamic or should you test categories? And you can also do test different versions of the email, one with images, one without images. Maybe you can even test text-based emails. Usually on flows, I don't recommend testing text-based emails, but I do that in campaigns, so we'll cover this later. But these are all things that you can A/B test. And you can for sure A/B test the call to action, so what you have in the buttons text. And you can here go as nerdy as you want, again, same with the pop-up, but try to focus on the most important things like the subject line, the email design, the timing. These usually are the ones that actually make a difference. So that's it for the flows. In the next chapter, we are going to talk about campaigns. So this is chapter 4 in this course. And in this chapter, we are going to talk about email campaigns. The campaigns are different than the flows, and I'm going to explain in details what are the campaigns and when you should be sending them and all of these details. Campaigns are super important and they can be your biggest asset to grow your sales and grow your brand. Using them, you can turn any one-time buyer into a repetitive, loyal customer. You can increase your sales and grow your brand the right way. In this chapter, we are going to discuss everything about email campaigns and how to actually send campaigns that sell. Because it's not enough to send emails, you need to send the right emails at the right moment to the right people. And this is what we are going to see in details now. Let's first talk a little bit about the theory. So you've collected your potential customers' emails, you are building up your emails list. Now you can reach out to this list through these two ways. First, you have the automated flows. So far, we've covered everything related to them and we've talked about them before. Then we have the campaigns, and these are the emails that you send manually. Remember, with the automated flows, you set them up and they run by themselves. With the campaigns, it's different. You need to intentionally decide what campaigns to send. And these are very important, as I told you before, because they help you keep your brand on the top of mind of your customers. Think of them as your store's weekly voice, keeping customers in the loop, excited, and ready to buy again. Now we live on the era of fast decisions. On social media, we are daily bombarded with thousands of things, and ads are always there. We see new brands on a daily basis. So how would someone stay loyal to your brand, to your products? Well, yes, your products are good. This is something super important. Your product should be good because otherwise people won't be coming back and buying it again in the future. But even selling a very good product is not enough if you don't remind those customers that they have purchased this product before, if you don't be in front of them, if you don't remind them that your brand exists. That's why emails are very important, because they can help you to stay there, to keep your customers or your potential customers seeing your brand, knowing about it, remembering your products. So what's the difference between flows and campaigns? And I'm pretty sure you know this by that, but flows are triggered by customers' behaviors, sent to one person at a time. So when someone enters a flow because they have triggered this flow, if they have signed up or left at the checkout or whatever, this flow is triggered to this person, and automatically it's going to be triggered to any person that takes the same action. And it's a long-term automation. You set it up once and that's it. Now with campaigns, it's different. Campaigns are manually scheduled, that you can send them to a segment or to your entire list. We're going to discuss this later, to whom you should be sending your emails, and they are related to timely promotions or engagement or timely events. And for example, you can do back on stock or something like this. We're going to this, and they are related to a timely event or promotion, or maybe a need to engage with your potential customers. We're going to see a lot of examples so you can understand more what type of campaigns you are going to send. So we have all of these types of campaigns, starting by sales and the promotion emails. And usually these are the most famous along e-commerce brands. Even if you're not doing any email marketing, or even if you are starting out, most probably you have sent an email somewhere down the road telling them that you have a sale, or if it's Black Friday or something like this. These usually are very common. These are related to new product drops, flash sales, clearance or bundle offers, back in stock or alerts, almost sold out, urgency updates. These are all ideas that you can use. Now, the second type is value and engagement emails. Although this type is the one that's the most common, and as I told you, it's the one that's going to bring you money basically, but it's not enough, because if you only send sales emails to your list, you are creating this type of relationship with them. You only reach out to them when you want to sell them. And this is not what will help you to make your brand stand out and to make them become loyal customers. You need to send a second type of emails, which is the value and engagement emails. Those are emails where you provide value to your list without directly trying to sell them anything. So for example, you can send how to use a product, customer spotlight or reviews, UGC highlights, behind the scenes or founder stories, and what's trending and stuff pics. These are very nice emails that you can send to your list. They will keep you like showcasing your product somehow, but at the same time, you are providing some value. Then we have the seasonal and holiday campaigns. And for example, we have Black Friday, Christmas, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, back to school, summer sale. Usually at these events, we do sales. So these campaigns are going to be sales campaigns. But some brands don't do, for example, sales at back to school or at Valentine's Day. This doesn't mean that you shouldn't be touching base with your list or mentioning Valentine's Day to them. It's nice to show them that you are part of the real world, to congratulate them if it's Christmas, to say Happy Mother's Day, even if you are not offering something on this special day. Then we have the niche-specific holiday campaigns, and those are going to differ between one niche to another. So for example, Ramadan or the Eid for modest fashion or beauty or halal products, Earth Day for eco-conscious brands, National Fitness Day for health or wellness brands, Pet Day or Fragrance Day or Women in Tech Day, and so on. So depending on your niche, you need to think about the type of things your audience might be interested about, and only your audience would be interested about. So for example, if I am selling supplements for dogs, Pet Day is something I should be sending email campaign on. If my brand is a vegan shoes, on Earth Day I should be sending a campaign. But if I'm selling, for example, food, maybe on Earth Day I'm not gonna do something. So maybe on Earth, but if I'm selling, for example, beverages that are not vegan or sustainable or anything, I won't be sending an email on Earth Day. So there are days that would be specific to your own niche, and you need to look at these days and also send campaigns on these days. So just a small recap. We have first everything related to sales, we have next everything related to values, and you have third everything related to your niche. When it comes to the value part in here, there is something I need to highlight. I think I missed in the presentation, and it is the importance to send value-based emails. And those emails could be simply educational emails, and they will depend a lot on your niche and the products you sell. But for example, if you sell vegan makeup, you can be sending emails for example, about the makeup routine, how to keep your skin hydrated, how to take care of your skin during hot days, and so on. So depending on your niche, there are emails and campaigns that you can send just to purely educate your audience and help them. You can share with them a YouTube video that you liked, or you can share with them, for example, your review on a certain thing that's happening, or a movie that's on the or on something that's happening, or share with them your love to something special. These emails are going to be very related to your niche, and the purpose of these emails is to actually help your potential customers. I'm gonna give you an example. I was working with a vegan shoes brand, and we used to send one campaign a month telling our customers about vegan places they can visit. So it's food, desserts, stuff like that. We knew that all our potential customers, all our contacts on the list are people who care a lot about being vegan. So we knew that this type of emails is going to help them. So we used to send these emails to them, and they used to perform very well because our contacts appreciated that we are trying to help them. And these are topics they really deeply care about. So think about your audience, see what type of value emails you can share with them, emails that are not 100% related to your products. They can be tips, they can be hacks, whatever you want, or you can be simply sharing your opinion about something with them. So now that you know all the different type of campaigns that you can be sending, now we need to discuss how to plan your campaign calendar. And this is where most people get stuck. Well, I know you've been planning to send campaigns for a very long time. I've seen this happening with a lot of people. It happens with me as well, by the way. So you feel overwhelmed. There are so many ideas out there, but how would I plan all of these so things don't get overlapped and I don't miss something important? And this is what I recommend you to do. Start by choosing your frequency. So how many emails you want to send weekly. If you are just starting out, and to be super realistic, I recommend you to start by sending one email per week. Well, if you have a very big list, like if you've never run email marketing before and you are just starting now, maybe one email per week won't be enough, but start with this, sending one email per week, just to get used to the idea that this is a new commitment, a new type of content that you should be creating. Later on, you can increase this to 2 or 3 per week as your list grows if you have something worth saying, for sure. And here, note something, consistency is more important than frequency. So if you're gonna send one email per week for 2 months, then stop sending emails at all. I prefer to send one email every 2 weeks, for example. Focus on consistently staying in touch with your contacts instead of only being in touch like randomly, okay? Your list should know they will hear from you regularly, but not be overwhelmed. So this is where you need to find the balance. I always recommend to start by one time per week, then after this you can pick it up. After choosing your frequency, you need to think about the type of content that you want to share. And I recommend you to mix your content types. So do product promo for 1 week, educational or UGC content for a 2nd week, seasonal tip in a 3rd week, and restock alert, for example, on the 4th week. Sure, you don't need to follow exactly this, but as you can see, I try to mix and match like different ideas. That we have the content, we have the promotional, and so on. Then layer the key dates. So use a calendar tool. I like to use Notion, but it's really up to you. You can use Google Calendar or anything. Second, mark the important days. So for example, global days like holidays, then niche dates, the ones that we talked about, and your brand's moments. So when you want to launch a product, or if you are doing restock or collabs, or maybe your brand's anniversary, and so on. So mark these days in your calendar. Put them in front of you because you need to plan based on these days, okay? They need to be there in order for you to have a vision about what you have in the future. Then plan ahead at least 1 or 2 months ahead. This is super important because otherwise it's going to be impossible to stay consistent and to actually commit to all of this. So after marking your important days, plan your campaigns based on them. For example, if we are doing Black Friday, it's not the time to send educational content. It's flash sale, it's a time of Black Friday. So for example, if it's Black Friday, it's not the time to send educational content. You have it in your calendar, you plan your content in a way that leads you to Black Friday. So you have your sales campaigns scheduled to be sent on Black Friday. 4. Reuse and repurpose. Your best performing campaigns are one of your biggest assets and you need to use them. So if you send something that worked in the past, you can tweak it and resend it again. You need for sure to space out your campaigns, but learning from campaigns is very important because they can greatly help you to understand what your audience actually care about. You can always change the subject line, refresh the product blogs, resend to a new segment, for example, and in this way you will save time and repurpose your own content. In addition to all the benefits of campaigns like staying in touch with your contacts, making more sales through education and flash sales, campaigns are also very important because this is where you learn fast. With campaigns, you get immediate feedback. So if you send a campaign and the open rate is very low, it means that the subject line that you have used is not good enough or the topic is not interesting enough. If people didn't click within the email, so if the click-through rate is low, it means that the email topic wasn't interesting enough, or the call to action that you have offered was not interesting enough to them. And this can be a great way to know, for example, if your offers are attractive, if your content is attractive, if the type of things that you are sharing with your audience is resonating with them or not. And this is where you test, refine, and improve your voice, your messaging, and your offers week after week. Also, you can use email campaigns to test. So for example, if you want to test a funny tone with your contacts, you can send one email where you are being very funny and see how it resonates with your list. If it resonates well, it means this is something that you can double down on. If it didn't, maybe this is something that you need to totally skip. This is just one idea, but the number of things that you can test is infinite actually, and I highly recommend you to use campaigns as a way to learn more about your contacts. Let's discuss who you need to send to. If you are just starting out and you have a small list and you are just starting out with email marketing, you need to be sending to all of your list. But after time, this shouldn't be your strategy. The fastest way to improve your campaign results is to stop sending your emails to everyone. People are different and the way or the connection they have with your brand is different. That's why you need to treat them in a different way. And we are going to talk about this, and it's called segmentation. But the first rule ever, if you want to be super lazy and you don't want to do anything, at least send your emails to your active subscribers only. And this is after being actively working on email marketing for a few months. We are going to discuss this to understand more. So why segments? Because not everyone is at the same stage. I told you this before. You've got new subscribers who haven't bought yet, customers who buy once and never again, loyal buyers who would love early access, cold subscribers who haven't opened in 90 days. These are just small examples of the different type of contacts that you might have. That's why segmentation is super important. Here are some benefits of segmentation. Segmentation campaigns get 10 to 20 higher open rates, they get more clicks, lower unsubscribe rates, and more sales. Here are the 5 most useful segments to start with. So if you are just getting started, here's what I recommend you setting up within Omnisend, and I will show you how to do it later. First, you have new subscribers. Those are people who subscribed but never purchased. People who signed up but haven't bought yet. First-time buyer offers. For those, for example, you need to send first-time buyer offers, product education, testimonials, or reviews. These are people who signed up but still didn't make up their minds to buy your product. So instead of giving up on them, maybe they still need more education. Maybe they still need to trust your brand more. So this is the type of campaigns that you should be sending them. Second, we have one-time customers, people who bought once but never came back. And for those, for example, you can send reorder reminders. Let's say you're selling makeup, you can send after 3 months if you estimate this is how much time they will need to finish the product, and remind them of your products. Second, cross-sell or complementary products. Again, if you are selling, for example, skincare, you can cross-sell with other products from your store. And win-back campaigns. Win-back, we do it during automations, but there is nothing wrong with also doing it with campaigns. Then we have repeat customers, people who bought more than 2 times. Those are somehow your loyal customers, or they are becoming your loyal customers. So you need to treat them in a way that reflects this. So you can send them, for example, early access to new products, VIP offers, thank you emails, and referral codes. So let's say I bought the same skincare from your store 2 times. When you are launching a new product, it would be super nice if you give me early access to this product with a small discount, as I am one of your loyal customers. Then we have the unengaged subscribers, so people who are not actually engaging with your emails. And those usually we target using the sunset flow. We've discussed this before, but you can also reach out to them using campaigns. There is nothing wrong with this if you have something very special to offer them. And then we have the category-based segments. And this is going to depend a lot on your niche. But let's say you have a grocery store and you sell for people who are gluten-free or vegan and so on. So maybe in this case, instead, for example, of sending an email to all your list, you send your email based on the customer's preferences. So if you are launching a new gluten-free bread, maybe you don't need to tell your vegan customers about it, but you must tell your gluten-free customers about it. So this is where segmenting based on category is super important. Same for fashion, between women and men, or activewear, or swimsuits, and so on. And then we have the engaged subscribers. And this is the most important segment because these are people, contacts on your list, who are actually opening the emails, engaging with them, so they will help you to keep your email marketing system healthy. You need to always have a subscribers email list, and this is the list that you should be sending to the most, because you know those are people who are interested about your brand. Well, how do you decide what are the engaged subscribers? It's really up to you and to the frequency of emails you send, but usually it's people who recently opened or clicked your emails. Why they matter? Because it's your warmest audience, they are active, they are reading, and they are more likely to buy. Usually with campaigns, we aim to 25 to 40% open rates, and with those we reach this. They offer better inbox placement and higher return on investment. With your engaged subscribers, you can be as creative as you want, and you can send flash sales, time-sensitive drops, exclusive deals, your best content, because you know this is your warmest list. And again, if you want to be the laziest ever, at least do this segment and send the emails to this segment. Now, before moving to Omnisend to see how to actually create those segments and how to set up a campaign, if you don't have a huge list and you don't want to overthink it, just start with new subscribers, buyers, non-buyers. Then after a little bit of time, start working on your engaged subscribers list. You don't need to make things complicated, just start somewhere. Now let's see how we can set up all of these segments on Omnisend and how you can set up a campaign to send. Well, first, let's start by talking about segments. From your Omnisend dashboard, on the left in here, you go to audience and you have contacts, segments, and so on. Contacts is where basically you have access to all your lists profiles, so you can see all the people in here. Segments are the segments that we are going to create now together. So you click here on create segment. And now with Omnisend, there is this AI feature where you can describe the segment that you want to create, and Omnisend is going to create the segment for you automatically. But in addition to this, you have in here some pre-built segments that you can start with. So for example, you have the active email subscribers, window shoppers, and as you can see, you can go and explore them. So for example, if I go to this one and click on customize, I will be able to see the rules for which people are being put in this segment, and the segment is updated automatically. So whenever any contact reach these rules, they will be added directly to the segment. So for example, in here, subscriber status is subscribed, have opened message at least one time in the last 30 days, where message channel is email. So in here, they've created a segment considering that any person who opened an email as an active subscriber. This is the easiest thing that you can start with. So this is already set up, or you can add more rules if you want. If you want to add another rule, you just need to click here on add and you add it. Now, if you want to use the AI feature from Omnisend, you click on create segment, and in here you need to describe the segment that you want to create. So, for example, they are giving you an example, contacts who've been active for over 6 months but haven't purchased anything in the last 3 months. So let's do contacts, for example, contacts who have been active in the last 2 months and they opened only one email. And you click on generate segment. So Omnisend is now reading to clarify, are you interested in 1, customers who opened only one email, 2, contacts who have been active in terms of contact properties as well. Please confirm so I can identify relevant events. So I'm gonna put yes, and they should be active in the last 2 months. By the way, they're still in beta phase, so they are still testing it out and it's improving day after day. So here is a segment for contacts active in the last 2 months who opened exactly only one email. So segment name, active in 2 months and opened one email. Contacts was added in the last 2 months. Exactly one email was opened by the contact in total. I will click on view segment in builder. So basically they've created this segment for me. So as you can see, date of addition in the last 2 months have opened exactly 1 in total in terms of emails. And you can test this tool as much as you want segments, or you can always start from scratch and create your own segment. It's super easy. So if we go back in here to segments, you click on create segment and you click on create from scratch and you can start creating your segment in here. So you add the filter. So for example, let's do the following. So open message at least 2 times between this date and this date. I don't have any active emails to this side, but for example, I now create a segment of people who have opened an email at least 2 times between these 2 days. It's always easier to start either with one of the pre-built segments you find in here, or to use the AI tool, but you can always do it yourself and create the segment yourself. After finishing with creating your segments, you start by sending your campaigns. And setting up a campaign is very similar to setting up an email within your flow. So we have seen something similar before. You click here on create a campaign and you go with email. And in here you need to define the subject line, which is super important. And let's put anything, trial 1, but we've talked about subject lines for flows. This applies exactly here the same. Sender name, I'm gonna put anything, and you have the pre-header and the campaign name and so on. I will put just some placeholders in here, but you can always preview how your email is going to look like in the inbox from here. Once you do that, you click on connect, choose email template, and you can choose one of your saved templates, or you can choose one of the templates in here. Let's choose randomly one of these. So let's go with this one. You modify it in the same way we have modified the email within the flow. It's just a normal email. After changing everything, you click on save and choose recipients. So in here, we need to decide to whom we are going to send this email. You can choose to send it to all subscribers, which is not something I recommend you to do, or you click on let me choose segment. So you select your segment from here, and after doing this, you can send either a test email or you can review and schedule this campaign. So you can schedule if you don't want to send it now. So you can click here and click on schedule for later. What I recommend you to do is to prepare the content of 1 month in advance and schedule them. In this way, you will make sure that you are consistent. At least put them in the draft and send them manually when you want, if you want to tweak things after learning from the previous campaigns. But scheduling ahead is always something very important to stay consistent. Now there is still one more topic that I want to cover before we finish this course. And it is about email warm-up and deliverability. I'm sorry, it's a very hard word to pronounce, and about list cleaning. This is very important because it's going to affect how much of your emails actually land on the inbox. To be realistic, a lot of your emails are going to land on the promotions, but our target is to land on the inbox. The biggest problem would be if our emails are landing on the junk folder. This is gonna be the biggest problem. And in this chapter, I'm going to try to explain to you the philosophy or how you should be tackling this in order to make sure that as much as possible of your emails are not landing on the junk. So you've built a list, you've written solid emails, you've set up flows and campaigns, but if your emails don't land in the inbox, none of that matters. In this chapter, we are going to talk about deliverability, and it's the silent killer of email marketing performance, and most people ignore it until it is too late. It's something that you need to be working on à fur et à mesure, like we say in French, so you need to be working on all the time. So what is email deliverability? It's not just did I send a campaign, it is did it land in the inbox, or did it go to the spam or promotions, or worse, not get delivered at all. Good deliverability means your emails are trusted by inbox providers like Gmail and they land where they are supposed to. And happily, there are tools that can help us to understand how our emails are performing. And this tool is called Postmaster, and it helps us to see if Gmail is actually liking us or not. So what can hurt your deliverability? First, sending from a Gmail or Yahoo. This is a big no. You need to send from any mail that has your domain name on it. Sending to cold, unengaged contacts. So what's the problem with this? Let's say you are just starting with email marketing and you went very excited about this and you sent the first email to 20,000 contacts. And those are people who maybe signed up to your list at a certain point, maybe purchased from you, but you didn't contact them in a very long time. In this list, most probably there would be so many cold contacts. So when they receive your email, they might not open it, they might not engage with it, and there is a very high probability they are going to report, and they might even report it as a spam or something like this. Or maybe you will have a lot of bouncing because these emails are old and maybe people are not using these addresses anymore. So sending to cold, unengaged contacts is always a very big risk. You can always approach this in a slow way. So instead of sending to your big list directly, you start first by sending to your engaged subscribers or to the warmest audiences. So people who purchased in the last month, for example, or the last 2 months, depending on your business size. Then you start adding to this list small lists of your cold audiences to try and warm them up. If you are just starting with email marketing, you won't have email engagement indicators to know who are your engaged subscribers. That's why you need the purchasing history as a way to decide who are your engaged subscribers until you have more data related to emails. So in case you are just starting out and you have a very big list, you can start with your recent purchases, people who maybe purchased several times from you before. Then you start adding to this list small chunks of cold audiences over time to try and warm them up. Another thing that can actually hurt, and that is to send suddenly to a very big volume. So if, for example, you had an email list that wasn't there, or if you weren't doing any email marketing before and suddenly you decided to send an email to 100,000 contacts, this is gonna definitely hurt your emails. Then you have sending emails with too many images without text in them. Especially when you are just starting out with email marketing, and this is what we call the warm-up phase, you need to be sending text-based emails. They don't need to be all text, but it's better if we have a good amount of text within them, because when you send emails that are all images, most probably they are going to land on the promotions or the junk. So text-based emails will help you to land on the inbox. That's why even in the future, it's always nice to mix and match. Sometimes send text-based emails with few images. Sometimes you can send fully branded emails. You need to find a balance between these two. Then we have the spammy subject lines or low quality copy. So if you're sending something spammy, don't expect your email to land on the inbox. Then we have ignoring unsubscribers or complaints. Never, ever, ever send to someone who said no to receiving emails from you. Okay, never do it. And never buy email lists and try to send to them. This is going to hurt your deliverability a lot. Let's discuss now what can help you to stay in the inbox. First, use a real business email. Second, gradually warm up your list, as we discussed before. Only send to engaged subscribers. Clean your list regularly, and this is where the sunset flow is going to play a very big role. Use a recognizable sender name, so for example, Rehab from Brandy. Include a plain text version behind the design, so try always to have include plain text version behind the design, so always try to include text within your emails. Monitor engagement like opens, clicks, and unsubscribes, and based on those, take decisions. Now let's discuss briefly the warm-up strategy, and this is a very large topic. If you want me to create a video about it, let me know, but it's very important if you are just starting out with email marketing. If you are using a brand new domain or haven't made your list in a while, don't just send a blast to all of your contacts. This is gonna be very bad. Now let's talk a little bit about domain warm-up strategy. This is a very large topic and I can't cover all of it in here, but I'm going to give you an idea. Unless you have a very small list. So what I recommend you to do if you have a large list, to start doing the warm-up slowly. This needs a full strategy, but the idea is you need to start increasing the amount of contacts you are sending to gradually, starting by the most warm audiences up until the coldest ones. So for example, in the first day or two, you can send to highly engaged contacts. Then you can increase this a little bit to more engaged contacts, then to more and more. So basically with every new campaign that you are sending to more and more contacts until you reach a point where you are sending a campaign to all of your contacts. And directly after this, you start sending back to your engaged subscribers because you want to preserve and to save your email reputation. This is very important to keep in mind. Warm up should be done in a very smooth way without rushing it. You need to make sure that people are getting used to your email slowly, that you are sending to more and more people week after week. Don't start with your big list directly. This is going to hurt your deliverability for sure. And finally, never forget to clean your list. It's super important to keep your list cleaned. The sunset flow is going to greatly help you with this. You can do a schedule to clean your list regularly every few months. What I recommend you to do is to always do a clean up before big events, so like Black Friday, for example, and to do a clean up when performance is dropping. So if you notice that your open rates are going down, that your emails are not performing as good as before, this might mean that your list is not healthy. The best way to do it is to have a sunset flow. It will run, and every few months you clean up your list and so on. Thank you so much for watching this video and for staying up until the end. I truly wish that this course is going to help you to set up email marketing and to start profiting from this amazing channel. Don't forget that if you want to get the guide that will help you to create your flows easily, comment below flow and I will send you the link. Thank you again for watching this video. I can't wait to read your comments below and to reply to every one of them. So please don't hesitate to leave any comment or to ask any question that you have in the comment section below. See you in the next video. Bye bye.